of the Florida LSU game that was scheduled for Saturday, and have worked with Scott Woodward, the athletic director at LSU, along with the SEC office, Charlie Hussey, Mark Womack, and of course Commissioner Sankey. Tentatively have rescheduled that game for December 12th, which, as you know, was a date put in the league schedule for circumstances like this, because we anticipated there might be issues as we went through the season.
That is Gators Athletic Director Scott Strickland an hour ago, declaring that the Gators game against LSU will be canceled, moved to December 12th, as long as everything goes right. How does this impact the rest of the schedule? And maybe the bigger story right now is Florida football has been shut down for now. How long will that take? What does that mean? And it's the world we live in. We just lived with it in the NFL with the Tennessee Titans, and they responded okay. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But on the college level, they had to anticipate some of this. They knew they were rolling the dice, and I think Scott Strickland, I listened to his entire news conference, and I think he knows that. They know that. They knew these times could come. They don't panic because of these times. They don't love it. Nobody does, but you have to be fluid right now in this day and age, and the Florida Gators are doing that. They'll have to do that. You know, they said that they would have less than 50% of scholarship players available if you take into effect the contact tracing quarantines along with the positive tests. So you do the math on that. They had 85 scholarships, and you know they don't feel like they'd be able to play a football game, and they're right, and they probably shouldn't play a football game, even if they didn't have those drastic numbers. So Florida Gators game canceled against LSU. That was scheduled for 3:30 initially, moved to 4 o'clock, and now it won't be played until December 12th, which is interesting because I don't think LSU is very good, like at all. I just don't think they're good. I think the line was 13 and a half or something. I think Florida was ready to roll them Saturday in the Swamp. Now it'll be interesting to see if Eddie O and LSU can figure things out and get a little bit better. It might be a more difficult game down the road for the Florida Gators if there's a lot on the line. And the Gators lost to Texas A&M, so how much will be on the line is unknown at this point, given the fact that they lost once. They still have some teams to play, including Georgia, right here in Jacksonville. Wow, that's the other thing that came out. That was like quiet. I don't know if I missed the press release, but Friday it came out that they're not doing RV City. They're not doing any of the festivities, Hall of Fame luncheon, and they'll have limited capacity. They have not announced the capacity at the Florida-Georgia game here in Jacksonville on November 7th, but they're not doing it. They're not having a full crowd. They've announced that. It will be limited. So I somehow missed that. Well, I started hearing about it like on Sunday, Monday, but I didn't see it on Friday for some reason. Florida Gators and LSU postponed. We'll talk more about it. Dan Mullen somewhat apologizes. I thought the star of today in Gainesville was Scott Strickland again. I think this guy's really good, really good. I'm not a Gator fan. I'm not a fan of any, the colleges around. I like to see them all do well. But I think we've had Scott Strickland on the show. I've been around Scott Strickland a little bit at the Florida-Georgia luncheon and other places, and I just think he's fantastic, and he's done a great job already at Florida. Did a great job at Mississippi State. But I just think the tone of today was really well done by him. And also the way he responded to the Dan Mullen criticisms over the last couple of days. And we'll get to that, and we'll hear from him on that front a little bit later on. Were you taken aback by my text?
No, about what?
I just said WTF, Austin.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good, man. I mean, I get all my friends say that to me all the time, so that's nothing new to me. We're all good, man.
Austin said he's going to be like 2 minutes later, a couple minutes later.
Yeah, man.
It's like, are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah. Imagine being late on this show. Anybody else that works for this show?
Come on. I got to be.
First time all year, by the way. I was late.
Is that the first time?
First time this year.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Now, and to be fair,
so I'm winning that scoring column.
Yeah, you're definitely dominating that one right now. Listen, and I could have stayed, but I realized that once I got to the building, I walked in. Well, my key card's in my cell phone, number one, like my cell phone case.
Yeah.
But number two, I'm like, I should probably go back and get my cell phone just for the fact that, just in case the school called for Ronan for some reason, knock on wood, I would have my phone on me.
Kuz even said, he doesn't even use his phone. He said he doesn't need his phone.
I know, it's just for safety. I mean, like, if my wife was home today, I wouldn't worry about it at all. But since my wife's in Gainesville right now, I kind of have to step up and be a parent just in case I got a phone call.
It's like a 20-minute ride back to my house. And if I got here and didn't have my phone, I'd be going back home and getting my phone. I'm not doing 3 hours without my phone.
Yeah.
I'll admit it.
No, it's all
Social
good, man.
dilemma.
I understand how you guys are. I understand how you guys are. Let me answer this question. What's the longest that you've ever gone without a cell phone? Not, I mean, you can't even think of a day, can you?
No, I mean, it's not even like, I mean, when I go work out at the gym, 45 minutes.
Sure.
When I sleep at night.
So,
I don't even go 45
about 3
minutes
hours?
at the gym.
So about
You
3
check it?
hours?
Well, yeah, I check it all the time because I'm worried I'm going to get an email from someone that's going to make me have to leave
I try
the gym.
not to. Once in a while, there'll be some, like if I feel like there's news happening or something like that, I might go peek over at it. But I usually put it down for the 45 minutes.
You guys are slaves.
And outside of that, I can't even remember a day. Like, I don't even know. If my phone broke right now in the middle of the show, I'd be leaving the show to go fix it.
You'd be in a panic.
I mean, listen, I
You still have your computer, man. You got email.
I'm now, that being said, it's probably broken before, and
Yeah,
I probably have had a few hours without it. But, I mean, I say this all the time. Like, you know, to me, I value, like, what you spend on something almost like how much you use it, right? Like I'm not a big, like, it doesn't come into play with everything, right? I don't spend a lot of money on sneakers.
Sure.
But I probably use them quite a bit.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, if you go buy something, say you want to go to Lululemon, all right? Like, I don't shop there, but it's expensive,
Neither do I,
right?
but I've heard good things.
Oh, I know. You guys have told me good things,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
fantastic.
expensive,
Nick
right?
Foles says it's good.
It's like
Yeah,
$70 for a shirt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But my point being, like, if you wear that shirt, like, once every 10 days
Sure.
out of the year,
Yeah.
well, then that's not a bad investment.
No,
Like,
especially a
you
shirt
can
that's
go
like made
buy
out of angel hair, it feels
You can
like.
buy a $15 shirt
Yeah.
that you wear, like, twice a year,
Yeah.
and you never, well, why'd you spend the $15?
And more than likely, that $15 shirt's probably going to wear out eventually, you know,
Yeah.
become shrink or something
So
like
there's
that.
some things like that. Well,
Okay.
I say that all the time about the phone. Like, people say the phone's expensive. I
It
would
is.
pay more for my phone than I
Don't-
pay
see,
for
don't-
my house. I
Don't
use
say
it more.
that, though, because they're always listening. Like, Apple's going to hear that and be like, oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and boost those prices up a little bit to like 3,000
They
grand.
just came out with the 12,
3,000
so they
grand.
probably-
$3,000. Did they really?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff?
I don't know. I
We
didn't
in?
check it.
I saw there's a mini one.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Did you see the mini?
a
it's
mini
set-
phone?
Yeah. So
I want bigger's better,
no,
people.
but here's the thing: the mini used to be the original because it used to be like a plus, right? And now the mini is like the outlier one.
Really?
It's like we're going around in circles here.
Yeah,
it's
we
like
are.
now the hot new thing. Check out the mini.
We're on a yo-yo.
Really? That was like the iPhone 4 had the mini.
Just wait till you see their announcement of headphones with cords.
Get out of town.
No.
Could you imagine?
You had me at hello.
Yeah.
But I would. I mean, listen, I use my phone more than anything I use. Like,
Sure.
I would probably pay more a month for my phone than I would for my car. If I had to. Like, we're all suckered in now. If they want to
Yeah.
all of a sudden jack the prices up,
Oh, I'm out. See ya.
yeah, not many people would go out.
Have fun trying to contact me. Then no, if you raise up like another $1,000, I'm going back to the flip phone, man. I'm going back to Nokia.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how many people would. But they
I'm
made it
so
obviously
stubborn like
affordable
that,
for
Brent. You
everyone.
have no idea. Like even video games, you know, like Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
So like when you play, like it's free to play, but then obviously there's the incentives where if you spend like $10 here, $10 here, you get more maps, you get more guns. Oh no. There's gonna be zero spending from me, so I'm gonna get what I get. And if you try to talk me into, well, if you spend $5 extra here, you get the new cool camo skin. Nah, man, I'm all good. Not spending any kind of money. It was free for a reason. Keep it free.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, some of it is out of principle.
It's the principle.
Right? I mean,
Thank you.
some does go to the principle. But I always say this, like in your house, like why does anybody buy a dining room table? Nobody uses a dining room table.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Like
That's what Thanksgiving was for.
I have had our dining room. We have had our dining room table since the Albany days,
Yeah.
and probably early on. We had that house for 5 years. We were in Albany. We've been here for 12. So let's just say 15 years.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times we've eaten dinner at the dining room table.
Yeah.
That's in the dining room that really is one of the most useless rooms in the house.
Sure.
I mean, it's got to be. Let's be conservative and say 15 to 20 times.
Yeah, those days of
Conservative.
eating as a family at the table are long
No,
gone.
no,
It's
Steph
not like an
uses
opening of like, you know, Roseanne. Remember like the opening of Roseanne where they're all like past? No one does that anymore.
Nobody does
People
that.
got cell phones. People got places to be.
Nobody does that.
No one
Nobody
does
eats
that
dinner
anymore.
at 6 o'clock anymore.
That's a good point.
So,
Those people call it supper, by the way.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
The Steph uses it as like where she tutors.
Sure.
It's
sure.
probably got pencil marks all over the table.
Yeah.
Nobody uses it.
But needless
so.
to say, though, as far as spending money, though, a bed, you can't go wrong with a nice bed. I think at least. 'Cause
Yeah.
think about how much time you spend on that bed. So go ahead and splurge a little bit and treat yourself.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not a picky bed guy.
Okay.
Although I probably should be more
gotta
because
be,
every
Brent.
time I get up, I'm hurting.
Yeah. So, hey, you're supposed to rest and feel refreshed, not get up and dread it.
No. When I get up, the first 5 minutes of the day over the last couple of years is the most miserable part of the day.
Oh, Brent,
I'm like, my shoulder's killing me.
Can we get a bed endorsement for Brent Martineau here? Come on, man.
I know. I need something new. But I've always been the guy, I could sleep on a box of rocks.
Really?
It doesn't bother me. Like,
Okay.
I'll sleep right here. I've never been, even with the ants.
Well, we have some radiator for
I've just
you.
never been like, I don't need that nice couch to sit on, a nice recliner to sit on. Like, it doesn't do, you could line up 3 couches, right? And I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Just give me one.
Okay.
I'm just not that guy.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I just
Same
think
thing with the bed.
I think the bed's different,
I don't
though,
even
because you
use
spend
a
so much
pillow
time
half
on
the
it.
time.
Brent, you're killing yourself, man. What do you mean you don't use a pillow?
Yeah.
You just sleep without a pillow?
Yeah.
Are you a vampire? How do you function?
Try
Your
not to
spine
sleep
probably
very
hates
often.
you.
Yeah. I'm sure your
it's
spine
catching
could
up.
use a breather. Okay.
catching up a little
It
bit.
is, for sure.
Maybe look into that.
Yeah.
Is that what you suggest?
Look into it.
Doc
Yeah.
Austin?
Yeah, check it out, man. Yeah.
Dr. Coos?
I got you, man. I got you.
Coos looks like he's just got out of surgery with the blue mask.
Looking good, Coos. Speaking of the
Thanks.
microphone. Speaking of the microphone, we can't hear you.
How about those Tennessee Titans?
Wow, man. So I saw you tweet last night a little
Did
bit.
you like my tweet?
I saw it this morning. Yeah, I loved it because you know what? You're finally starting to come on board now. And listen,
I hate the Titans.
I know you do. I know. And
Hate 'em.
and you didn't want to give him any credit.
Nope.
When Ryan Tannehill took over, they started having success. 0 credit to the Tennessee Titans. When they went to the playoffs, Brent Martineau, 0 credit.
Yep.
When they went to the AFC Championship game, Tennessee Titans, 0 credit.
Smoke and mirrors.
Going into this preseason, Tennessee Titans, 0 credit. They're going to figure them out. Well, listen, I think it's time that we get, and listen, it pains me too. I'm not the biggest Titans fan.
Better not be.
But you got to give them a little credit here, Brent. The fact that they were, and by the way, NFL, look into it. Like, they had to have some practices all outside of the stadium. For as good as they were playing, you mean to tell me they were sitting out 10 days at home, quarantining? Come on, NFL.
They went 7 for 7 in the red zone.
I know.
Well, 7 for 7. I mean, it was just like they were flawless.
Yeah.
And, you know, Tannehill, I did this. I think I tweeted this at one point. Tannehill had 188 yards passing.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry had 57 yards rushing, and they had 35 points. Now, I understand they got some turnovers. But if you looked at the stats, like the Bills had 5 more minutes time of possession. They had more yards. They were like 11 of 15 on third downs. And they had the turnovers. Obviously, turnovers are king. I love how they say, in the broadcast, they're like, well, Mike Vrabel says, turnovers. No kidding. Every football coach that's ever existed
Captain Obvious.
says turnovers are the difference in a game. Can we stop with
Captain
that narrative?
Obvious. Hey, Captain Obvious. Let's go. Absolutely.
No, another thing, okay? And we'll get into the Titans a little bit because I do think there's something there, and I got to admit it. I'm sorry, Duval Doom. But, I mean,
rough.
I had to admit it to myself. I mean, they know how to win. But can we – listen, big fan of Derrick Henry.
How could you not be?
Huge fan. A local guy.
The Yulee
I hate that he
bulldozer. You
plays
respect
for the
him,
Titans.
but you got to respect him.
But I love Derrick, okay?
Yeah.
And he's unbelievable what he's done. I said he's one of the greatest of all time to come out of here now. Forget about what else he accomplishes.
Poor Josh Norman.
Thank you, first of all, Derrick Henry. And thank you to Josh Norman, the Buffalo Bills, that finally they'll stop running the 99-yard touchdown highlight.
No,
they will.
No, they won't.
They will.
No, they won't, Brent.
We will see that play first.
Brent.
More impressive, that stiff arm or the 99-yard
Brent.
run.
Are you kidding? I mean, listen, I know you're looking at us with Jaguars goggles right now, but can we go back in time real quick and revisit those painful days when Derrick Henry ran 99 yards and stiff-armed, I think, 2 people and bulldozed another person? Like, that's what put Leon Jacobs on the map, unfortunately. So don't sit here and say
took him off the field.
Yeah, so don't say that that stiff arm for maybe 6 or 7 yards on Josh Norman was a bigger play and is going to be shown more than that 99-yard run. I hate to tell you, man, and I hate to break your spirit, but that's not going to happen.
I think it is.
Okay.
But at least for a moment, okay, we can talk about Josh Norman and the stiff arm.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So we thank him.
It's a meme.
You know what's crazy in our world, though?
What's that?
And Derek would probably say the same. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't say the same. But, like, he didn't. It's not like he had this great game, right? Like,
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he ended up piling on a couple touchdowns there, like the nice bounce-out run. What did he finish with? Do you know? But it was like
not top of my head.
3 point something a carry or something, right? Like, I don't think he would sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I ran all over the Bills.
No.
Right?
No, absolutely not.
But in our world today, everybody this morning's talking about Derrick Henry like he ran for 220.
Sure.
Like,
No,
guys
that
can run
makes
for
sense.
220.
Yeah.
Yet if you don't come up with that highlight play,
Yeah.
We're not really talking about you.
Well, that's the thing, though, Brent. Like, we live in the age of the highlight, right? And I'm trying to find what Derrick Henry had here. He did have the 2 touchdowns. I know that. ESPN's kind of struggling right now. But needless to say, no, I agree with you.
ESPN 690?
Sorry. The ESPN website, not us. The whole box score thing's kind of screwed up. We're all trying to make it, man. We're all trying to make it. But needless to say, though, yes, it is the highlight era, and it's especially the meme era where if you get memed like Josh Norman did, like he was wearing Crocs in the club and security had to bounce him out, like he was wearing a tall tee or baggy jeans in the club or a starter jacket in the club and he got bounced out, like that was the highlight of the game. You could talk about Ryan Tannehill, you could talk about A.J. Brown being back, but what do we all remember? Remember Josh Norman getting stiff-armed and going like 10 yards in the air. So with that being said, it doesn't matter if you rush for 20 yards or 200 yards. If you have that kind of play, they're going to talk about you.
Yeah, I think, like, if Derrick Henry did that to Ty, like, I would get it. Ty weighs 96 pounds. But the fact that he did it to a grown man, it just doesn't make sense.
But, like, Derrick Henry's also a man amongst boys, though.
I understand that. You know what I loved about it? Maybe we can find it, Kuz. But I love that he actually had a quote that he said, I've done too many curls or something. Too many arm curls, yeah. That is not Derrick Henry's style. You ask Derrick Henry about like something, and he'll like dismiss it and kind of talk team and stay very, he kind of gave humble. He gave someone a one-liner. Yeah, by the way, that doesn't mean he's not humble, but he just gave somebody a one-liner off that. Which means he was probably pretty impressed with it too.
He's having fun with it. Well, obviously, if you see the reaction with his teammates, I mean, how could you not kind of garner some kind of smarky comment? So listen, I'm all about that, man. It's good to have a little personality there.
Yeah, I want to do. Can we do at the wall that says it all? Maybe you can describe the art of the stiff arm. Like I don't understand how a grown person can go that far off this. Like just off. A stiff arm, man. Like if I did that to you or you did that to me, I don't feel like I'm going flying.
I want to see you do that to me and see what happens.
Well, I know it might hurt, but if you did that to me, I don't feel like if you want to fight me in a cage, you'll knock me out. But if you want to run by me and stiff arm me, I just don't feel like I'm gonna leave my feet and go flying in the air for I might go. You might knock me down. You might run over me, right? Like we used to do in the backyard. You just run over somebody.
Correct.
But I don't get the whole flying and
well, listen. So first of all, Derrick Henry, he had 19 carries, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. So obviously a very modest, a very modest day for Derrick Henry. No, I agree with you. And listen, if you're Josh Norman there, you could do it all again. Odds are that you're going to go back and try to go for his legs, right? Any logical person would. I would try to do that. But listen, and I'm not a physics teacher. I never even took physics class. I've watched sports science before on ESPN. There's a little plug for you guys.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, but that guy's awesome. What happened? Is he still doing his stuff? I haven't seen him in a while.
Remember we saw him at the Super Bowl? I kind of wanted to get him on.
I got starstruck a little bit.
I think that guy's like awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah, he guy's a pioneer. So anyways, though, if you're Josh Norman, like listen, if you go back and do it again, you wouldn't leave your feet. You wouldn't tackle high. But when you're in that moment, and Derrick Henry's essentially trying to rush for a first down, game's on the line, you don't think about that, Brent, right? Like all of a sudden instincts from Pee Wee football take over. It's like, listen, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to stop this running back from getting this first down. Unfortunately, Josh Norman didn't realize that at that moment, that when he jumped in the air, that running back was not a Pee Wee running back. He was Derrick Henry. He was the Yulee bulldozer, and the events which took place followed after that.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was a great play. Yeah. I'm so struck by our world sometimes. And yesterday was a great example of it. You know, even Ty, right? Ty is our world, right? That age group.
Absolutely.
15 years old, almost 16 years old. And he came home. He was out to dinner with a buddy for a birthday party. And he comes in. He's like, well, I saw you tweeted about it, so you saw the Derrick Henry stiff arm, right? Yeah. It's like, first of all, get the hell off Twitter. And secondly,
you're too young.
All right, we got to take a break. We come back, we will spin it to the Jaguars. We'll talk more about the Gators and what's going on there. You'll hear more from Scott Strickland, hopefully even Dan Mullen. And what the latest in Gainesville is and what others folks can do. By the way, Fletcher has been closed until Monday, Fletcher High School, because they've had an outbreak. This isn't just sports related now. That's for everybody out there. And those folks at Fletcher, has a kid at Fletcher. They just announced that, I think, in the last hour or so, that Fletcher will be closed until Monday. So, again, I mean, it's part of it. It's in fact, I have been floored. My kids are in high school. I have been floored that kids haven't been sent home. In all, there have been kids quarantined, but I just am surprised the schools have actually stayed open to this point. I am a bit surprised by that.
How much pressure, speaking of college football, though, with Florida, how much pressure is on the Big Ten right now? to open back up? Like, are they hesitating a little bit? Or are they kind of all systems go, you think?
Let's talk about that a little bit later on, because now will they look at this and say, oh, wait a minute, we were right. The presidents were right, you football coaches. We'll get into that in just a bit. But when we come back, Gardner Minshew. Minshew talked today. Still looks a little bit annoyed, especially with some.
What up, Gene?
And
it's my dude.
Are they asking him to do too much? It was something we wanted to get to yesterday. We didn't, but actually it's better today because Jay Gruden talked about it. Gardner Minshew talked about it. We talk about Gardner Minshew coming up next. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and warm today. An isolated shower. Highs around 85. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's Buy One, Get One wedding band sale going on now through October 24th.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com. As the seasons change, there's one thing that never changes: the importance of clean drinking water. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. Now that's clean, and that's also why our family has a Connecticut system from CGC Water. Yours can too. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. Connecticut Premier Softeners are non-electric and have twin tanks, making them super efficient, saving you money. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember, this is a limited time offer, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. Financing available with approved credit. Just call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision, to deprive you of important local news and to watch your favorite teams at the start of football season, then make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474 and demand they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
This is Chris Chambliss, Clay County Supervisor of Elections. Let's face it, like it or not, COVID-19 has impacted us in ways we hadn't imagined. That's why I want to make sure you know your voting options. Whether it's voting by mail, early voting, or on Election Day, vote in the way that makes you feel most comfortable. For more information, visit northfloridavotes.com. That's northfloridavotes.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, things may have gotten tougher lately. You're probably looking for savings wherever you can find them, so you may be surprised to hear that most small businesses overpay for workers' compensation insurance. Many insurance companies just aren't set up to give small businesses the savings they deserve, but Pie Insurance was created to change that. We serve small businesses exclusively, and we can save you up to 30%. You owe it to yourself to find out if you're overpaying. Just get a quote right from your computer or smartphone at trypie.com. Pie Insurance is a no-brainer. With our simple online experience and outstanding service, we're rated excellent on Trustpilot by our customers, who tell us Pie is fast, affordable, and easy to work with. As easy as pie, in fact. Savings matter now more than ever. Isn't it worth taking 3 minutes to find out if you're overpaying for workers' comp? Ask your insurance agent for Pie Insurance or get a quote today at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
This is Tom Scared for the Borgen Project. Each year, nearly 2 million children die from preventable diseases. Each day, 30,000 people die from hunger. 500 each hour are children. The Borgen Project is turning this around. We need your help. To learn more, go to borgenproject.org. That's BORGEN project.org.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
All across the nation, we are here for our communities.
We're doing our part to get supplies where it's needed in order to fight COVID-19 together.
It feels good to be out there to assist our community.
I would like our friends and family to know that your National Guardsmen are always ready and always there.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Bring a little spice into your sex life. Adam and Eve Adult Store. It's the trusted name in adult entertainment. Secure private shopping experience at AdamEveOutlet.com. That's AdamEveOutlet.com.
Support local children battling life-threatening illnesses by participating in the Dreams Come True virtual 5K. Register to receive your Dreams Come True face mask and help fulfill the dreams of children in our community. Learn more at dreamscometrue.org or call 296-3030.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Hump Day. I'm Jake Mitchell. In a rare Tuesday night football game, the Tennessee Titans handed the Buffalo Bills their first loss of the season in a drubbing, 42-16. This after the Titans hadn't played a game in 16 days because of multiple positive COVID tests. How good can the Titans be this season? Here's Ian Fitzsimmons.
They got leaders at every level. You know, from Derrick Henry at running back to Rashaan Evans at linebacker, Kenny Vaccaro at safety. They have a leader at quarterback. They've got leaders at every single level. And when you have that, you've got a contender.
Elsewhere in the NFL, the hapless Jets have released star running back Le'Veon Bell. And across the state, Tampa Bay is having an incredible sports year. After the Lightning have won the NHL Stanley Cup, the Rays are one win away from going to the World Series. Game 5 of the ALCS is tonight on TBS. Working from home and want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 690.
Vote for this week's ESPN 690 High School Athlete of the Week, presented by Honda of the Avenues. Each week, an athlete with the most votes will be announced on Action Sports Jax. To vote or nominate your favorite student athlete, go to ESPN690.com or check us out on ESPN 690's Facebook page.
Austin Lane.
The Rock, out of nowhere, buys the XFL during a pandemic, mind you, goes half in with his ex-wife. So now you're going to business with your ex-wife.
Brent Martineau.
I don't know if that's on the business advice list.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
You're muted. Every time. When you watch the tape on the 3rd and goal play in which you had the little swing pass to LaVisca, any regrets about maybe not looking right first or creating some sort of deception, because you seemed to look there right away and there was that alerted the tech where LaVisca couldn't really make a move to try to get into the end zone? Yeah, it's similar to, when, you're about to do your job and then you don't unmute yourself. You know, we all have things, so, but no, we played within the play. They gave us a look that we weren't expecting. They played it well, made the tackle. That's how it went down. Thank you.
Gene, man, that's my dude right there. It's the gift that keeps on giving, man.
We should say that thank you for like a drop.
What's that? Oh, the thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
The backstory here is, if you don't know, so it's not an inside joke, is obviously all these news conferences are virtual. And now, today I was like, this is the first time in a long time. I lived in the virtual pandemic world for up until football season.
Yeah.
And now we're back in the building a lot because we do so many shows. So I'm not doing stuff from home. But the virtual press conferences we either do from wherever they're at. And so I'm on them, but they're spaced out. Well, today, we had a call for Cox Media Group on the radio side. Then I went right into the Gardner Minshew one I was listening to, then the Chris Conley one, then the Scott Strickland one. I was like, holy cats, I've spent 2.5 hours on Zoom.
Just chilling.
Right? Or Teams or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of odd. But anyway, in that world, we obviously some of the tricks of everybody's dealing with this, right? Sometimes you mute it, sometimes you don't, sometimes you forget, sometimes the dog barks, sometimes whatever.
Yeah, life happens.
And we say this because we love Gene. I'm a big Gene fan. All right.
I told you, that's my dude right there.
And so it's like if we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's an epidemic with Gene.
Yeah.
That he always has something technical go wrong, and it's usually forgets to unmute himself when it's time to ask the question.
Sure.
And so that was a little bit of the backstory there. What else is interesting is I feel like, and Gene's been questioning, Gardner hasn't been playing great. They're losing. And so everybody's questioning and asking but there's been some terse kind of exchanges the last couple of weeks with Gardner, just based on some specifics. You know what? I think we had it last week with the short throw on first down against Cincinnati.
Yep.
And he got a little quick-witted on that one as well, which I don't mind. But then
so he is.
This one was kind of similar, and he didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
And Gene was asking about a specific play, and instead of answering the question, he kind of said, it's kind of like not unmuting yourself and doing your job.
Yeah.
So it's a great answer by Minshew. It's kind of fun. It's funny. But I actually wonder, on top of being funny, does it show a little bit of frustration right now for Gardner Minshew? We had Josh Allen on yesterday. We talked about the noise, right? He watched the broadcast. He saw it. Chris Conley yesterday, I think it was, I saw on social media, talked about the noise on social media. DJ Chark last week talked about the noise on social media.
Yeah.
This is this isn't like a one-off thing. If you want to go back 10 days, I can give you 4 or 5 different circumstances now that it's been brought up on a young football team in this world where you got to take the bullets, and I just feel a little frustration from Gardner Minshew. Some of it's fun-loving. Some of it's because he's got that fun personality of jab you. But I think this is a little bit more frustration, too. Like, all right, you guys are going to question every single pass play, every single this.
Yeah.
Or it just might be internal frustration with the 1-4 record.
Yeah, listen, with Gardner Minshew right now, obviously, you get the sense that he's maybe pressing a little bit. And I think, with Gene Fournette, who's been doing this job for a very long time, probably the most experienced guy, I would say, in the Jacksonville media, hands down. So,
and it's not just Gene. He's not the only one asking questions.
Correct. And this isn't Gene's first rodeo, right? But from Gardner Minshew's perspective, obviously he watched that film probably 3 times over. It's not fun to watch film when you lose. It's one of the worst things you can actually put yourself through. But obviously you have to get better. You have to learn from your mistakes. So I'm sure Gardner Minshew's probably talked about that play now maybe 50, 100 times, right, of what he has to do better. And then I just think that when that question arises and it reiterates itself, that's obviously frustration from Gardner Minshew saying, man, what do you want me to tell you? I screwed up. I messed up completely. My fault. It happens in the game of football. And I just think that was an example there of Gardner Minshew still using his quick wittiness, but also just being frustrated. What do you want me to tell you? You're telling me that I messed up. Obviously, I know I messed up. I messed up. Let's move on.
Well, I think the role of the quarterback is interesting in the NFL in terms of availability to the media. They are usually available right after the game.
Yeah.
And then they're available most of the time on Wednesday, or I think in some cities they do it on Thursday, but Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about that, right after the game on Sunday, they're emotionally drained. They're physically spent. They haven't seen film. They could take you through a play or two. And even we, as the media, haven't dissected things like we did for the next couple of days leading up to Wednesday. So by the time Wednesday comes around, what's the old adage in the NFL? 24-hour rule. Yeah. Well, so in your mind as a player, you've dismissed that game. Mm-hmm. Now, the quarterback knows you might get a question or two about it, but when internally you've dismissed the game. I mean, it's one of the wildest things that players do. They 24 hours later, that thing's gone. It's on to the next week. And so I think that is always interesting, right? Like the fact that we're still asking Gardner about a player, 2 or 3, sure, and not just Gardner, but any player or quarterback that speaks on Wednesday, while his mind now is totally turned to the Detroit Lions. Correct. And so I just think that part is interesting. Add in losses. Like, guys don't mind talking about plays that win you games.
Without a doubt. Of course they don't.
But to your point, they've already seen it. They've explored it. The coaches have talked to them about it. They've answered questions internally about it. Now they're answering more questions. And I just sense, listen, I don't care. I don't mind any of this stuff. I think Gardner's a guy that probably wears it on the sleeve a little bit. He says a lot of the right things. He protects his players and the offensive line and the receivers. He takes a lot of the accountability. That's what quarterbacks should do. This isn't a criticism of Gardner. He handles himself well. He knows he's a bright guy, and he's good at leadership position. Yeah. But I think it is a sense of frustration right now internally. I think over the last 10 days, we've seen that from various players, including Gardner Minshew, that what they're doing isn't working. This is such a big opportunity for especially Gardner right now, and they're 1-4. And as you say, the numbers we can talk about and have fun with, but the W's aren't coming. Yeah. And if the W's don't come, well, it's not going to look good for a lot of different people. So I think, at least I do, and maybe I'm misreading it, but I'm feeling a sense of frustration out of number 15 at what's gone on in the first month.
No, listen, I think there's a sense of frustration not only from Minshew, but that entire team. As there should be.
There should be, yeah.
You know what? Because losing's not fun. Having to show up to work every single day, knowing that you lost the previous week, and I've done a lot of that. It's one of the worst things to do, right? It's hard to find motivation, be like, all right, another day at work, another day of physically taxing myself and also mentally taxing myself for what? We got beat last week. So those are hard obstacles to overcome, to say the least. My surprise comes, though, Brent, and you heard from DJ Chark. I think you mentioned it with Chris Conley, which I haven't heard yet, but just the self-awareness of the social media angle.
Yeah.
Like, how many guys are seeing what's being said on Twitter or are seeing what the radio stations are saying. Hopefully they're listening to us, obviously. But are just seeing what everyone's got to say about them, because guess what? And spoiler alert, you guys are 1-4. So I can guarantee you right now, the stuff on social media, it's not going to be good, because people that want to type stuff on social media are either two of things. They're super passionate and they're happy with how the team's doing, or you're 1-4 and they're fed up with how the team's doing. So to me, and once again, like, I understand maybe I'm kind of a get off my lawn type of guy right now, because I mean, I had Twitter when I played, but not as much as obviously it is now. But you have to actually make it an effort and subconsciously make it a goal to go out there and be offended by social media.
Yeah.
You have to literally search your name in, or go in your mentions, go in your DMs and say, oh, let's see what this guy's got to say about me. Oh, what do you know? He's pissed. He's ticked off because I lost the game. Like, what good comes of that? Like, I'll never understand. I get it from a point where players want to use it as motivation. So be it. If you need some guy that sits in his mom's basement that eats Cheetos to tell you you suck at football to motivate you, then so be it. Have at it. But what I just can't comprehend is the players that go out there looking for criticism, searching for criticism, and then get upset when they find it. Like, don't go to the beach and get mad because you got sand in your shoes. Don't go on social media when you're 1-4 and get mad because people are fed up with 1-4. Simple as that.
Yeah, and you know, my feeling on it always is said, and I've said it countless times. You've heard it before. It's just these guys have to wear the last dozen years of failure around here. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but they've got to wear it. It's not on them. They didn't create it. They haven't lost 90 whatever games in the last however many years. But they're wearing it. And when you lose, you're wearing it, unless you're changing it around.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really, you know, it's going to be a kind of the point of the Tennessee Titans talk a little bit. Well, we can do it here in another minute. It just doesn't take very long. But what I saw last night in the Tennessee Titans, a reason why, like after 15 days of all that COVID stuff, and by the way, I'm not buying into the whole Taylor Lewan world against us and Tannehill world against us. I mean,
the whole Ryan Tannehill thing.
I mean, both of them.
What'd you expect? You guys have been out for 12 days because of COVID-19.
You changed the whole damn schedule around.
I don't have Thursday Night Football. What am I going to bet on? I'm a degenerate. I'm kidding.
The Titans alone, for how it happened.
Yeah.
All right. And we do think they were at some fault because it's not happening anywhere else to this degree yet.
Correct.
The Titans they were the catalyst for 9 schedule changes in an email that came out on Sunday. 9. And we're supposed to feel bad for the Titans? Like you were sick of hearing it?
Yeah.
I mean, you got lucky you didn't have to forfeit the game.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. It just... Yeah,
that's. I know we're all over the place here. I'm going from Minshew to the Titans
but
to
it's all under the same umbrella, and it's all under. It has the same tentacles. Even like with LeBron James, we talked about yesterday, where it's like, show me some respect. Well, LeBron, who's not giving you respect? Like Tennessee Titans. I mean, are you really surprised people were upset because the whole schedule had to be kind of predetermined and moved around because of what you guys did? And you expect us just to go, oh, that's cool. It's all good. Let's go ahead and change the whole schedule, the whole season around because one team can do things the right way. What did you expect? So it all falls under the same umbrella where it's like, and I don't want to call it delusion because I think people are self-aware. I mean, listen, you talk about the modern era athlete, they're extremely self-aware. They know what's up. But don't tell me that you heard the blowback and you heard the negative feedback saying how everyone's upset with you. Well, no kidding. Color me shocked. I'm still upset with you. I'm upset that you won that game. I want you guys to lose so it can prove a point. Only thing it proved now is that we don't need practice anymore. You can just do whatever you want to do because obviously you can come out playing one of your best games of the season and not even practice.
The interesting thing about all that is the Titans organization was kind of like at the front and center of this. And because they were testing positive and they were being investigated and there were pictures of them at a facility practicing when they were told not to.
Yeah.
Like, you brought the attention on you.
Yeah.
And nobody really singled out a player that I could see. Like, I mean, I didn't see every article or whatever written, but it's not like, Ryan Tannehill, this is your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about, man? Like, sometimes I think these guys are so damn soft, or I just don't know if they're in this bubble that I couldn't even try to create myself. Like, it's just a world that is so different.
Yeah.
The bubble they create. And I understand sometimes they have to. You know what? They have to. When you're 1-4, you have to create that bubble.
Sure.
And then sometimes you create this it's like you're 4 years old and you're this imaginary world. It's like you're this superhero and you're creating this whole scene for yourself. And that's what athletes do. And that's what this reminded me of with the Titans. It's like, how are you sitting there in a post-game news conference saying it was us against everybody? We were getting our feelings hurt.
Yeah.
You guys were being mean to us when you almost screwed up 2 weeks of the NFL season.
Listen, to me, whether it's normal everyday life or it's professional athletes, there's 2 types of people. There's the self-motivated and there's the, outside force needed to be motivated.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of professional athletes these days, especially in football, they rely on those outside forces to try to get a little extra motivation. Now, that's easy to do when you're losing, right? Because when you're losing, it's hard to go to the stadium every single day. So you need those outside forces to motivate you to get up early and be like, hey, you know what? They don't want to see me make it. Let's go. But when you're undefeated and with the whole COVID-19 thing and you've been out for 12 days or whatever it's been, and you expect the outside forces to motivate you because for whatever reason you felt like you were offended or whatever people had to say, that's a different type of animal right there. It's the Tom Brady effect. When Tom Brady last year was saying, I got to prove people wrong. Well, no, Tom. Everyone's calling you the GOAT for a reason. Like, just try that in your mind and see what happens. But it's all part of the athlete, Brent.
I have been here 12 years. I hate the Titans. I've hardly had enough respect for the Titans. I feel like sometimes they win with smoke and mirrors. Like, I don't even know if people in Nashville think the Titans are that good, yet they're 4-0. Like, that's what way I have my percent. I finally tweet something nice about the Titans last night, and they can't even follow suit in their own press conference after they win with saying, hey, this shows the mental toughness of us. This shows how physically tough we are. We can handle anything. No, instead we're going to whine like a bunch of 5-year-olds that you are picking on us.
Get on them, Brent. Hey, shame on you for showing them respect. It takes respect to get respect. And guess what? Hey, Tennessee Titans, you lost all respect from ESPN 690. Derrick Henry, you're still cool, though.
Yes.
I don't want to mess with you.
Please don't stiff arm me.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with you, dude. We're good.
Hey, when we come back, more on Minshew. I'll get into the Titans and my thought on what I said last night because it relates more to Doug Marrone and the Jaguars organization. But let's go Minshew next on ESPN 690.
High school football is back. Listen Friday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Blitz High School Scoreboard Show. presented by Honda of the Avenues. Action Sports Jax Brent Martineau takes you around Northeast Florida for up-to-the-minute scores and highlights from your favorite teams. The Blitz High School Scoreboard Show, presented by Honda of the Avenues. Friday nights at 9 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
No matter what you're driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of Fields Auto Group's dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group stores in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Social distancing can't stop us from raising money for critical research towards cures for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Communities across the country will take steps with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation in a national virtual walk supporting millions of patients with inflammatory bowel disease. Join us Sunday, October 18th, to take steps virtually at an online event with inspiring stories, music, entertainment, and more. Go to cctakesteps.org/TS.
For more than 25 years, the potential for health improvement is seen with each patient that walks through our doors. Healthcare decisions don't have to be confusing. Make Island Doctors your medical practice.
My husband and I have been coming to Island Doctors for approximately 10 years, and we have been very happy with them, and we trust them.
Call us today and schedule a tour of one of our locations near you and take a look at our Best Wellness program. And welcome home.
Call 1-877-434-4676 or visit islanddoctors.com.
This Movember, here's to the straggly mustaches, the lopsided ones, the itchy, patchy, raggedy ones. Hey, I look good with this ones. The ones grown by Dad, the ones grown for Dad. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
ESPN 690 wants you to shop the 904. And by doing that, you keep most of the money and jobs right here on the First Coast. Plus, local businesses give our community its uniqueness and character that makes living on the First Coast so great.
Shop the 904. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Every week, our design is to go in there and run the football, pound the football. Unfortunately, I've done a poor job of sticking with it. So it's something that we have to obviously get better at and be aware of the game, the situation, and all that. Obviously, sometimes late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, if you take out that part of the game in the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's hard to run the ball. But we do have to do a better job early in games to try to maintain the run and keep our linemen pounding the rock a little bit and keeping the pressure off Gardner.
I'm almost afraid of this week because now I feel like the Jags they're picking up on the narrative. And I hope the coaches aren't just listening to the narrative and the questions being asked. And all of a sudden now, they're going to go run it 42 times on Sunday. I mean, I just have a feeling.
Well, to be fair, the Lions' rush defense is pretty bad.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, so I understand you have to do it more, but like I get what they're saying. I think they're the worst run production or the least run-oriented team in the NFL, 33% of the time. Boy, how far have they gone from Coughlin in 17 and Marrone in 17 to this?
Can we just have a happy medium? Can we just have can we have balance?
That's
Brent?
my point, right? So it's like, why are we 180ing everything?
Yeah.
Right? And can there be this balance? But I think Jordan DeLugo had the tweet today I saw. He said in the first half it was 15%. They're 15th in the NFL in terms of rank of how much they run the ball. So they do stay more balanced in the first half, but then the games are getting away from them, skews the numbers, right? And I think they've also had some 2-minute drives at the end of the first half that have probably skewed some of the numbers. The bottom line is, when your job is to expose other teams' weaknesses. I'll just take last game as one that they didn't expose the weakness of the Houston Texans.
No.
Instead, they ended up throwing it 49 times, which is a strength of the Texans because J.J. Watt can go do his thing. And if they're any good on defense, if J.J. Watt's involved in every play, or those guys, Merciless and others. So you have to attack the run. And then if it doesn't work, then you abandon the run at some time. But your best weapon right now, one of your best weapons, no doubt, James Robinson. And your weakness of your opponent is stopping the run. They know that too, so they're going to emphasize it. But you have to at least see if it will work. And when it does work, go back to it. And it's a tough job, the OC, but you got to have a feel for it. And the feel has seemingly been off at critical times, even in the first 3 quarters the last couple of weeks.
See, to me, it's all about earning the respect of that defense, that defensive coordinator, where you kind of have them on their heels a little bit. Is it going to be a run? Is it going to be a pass? We don't know what to do. And I felt like towards that third quarter, you knew it was going to be a pass every single time, and the Texans didn't respect the run. And you saw what happened after that.
Yeah, and this is a showcase for Minshew. Are you giving him are you putting him in the best situation? Are you asking him to do too much? That's really going to be our topic here in the 4 o'clock hour. And so I think those are valid questions. Like, it doesn't mean he can't do it. It doesn't mean you're afraid of him doing it. It's just, does it make sense to do it as much as you're doing it? And they have to look at these last couple of games and say, wait a minute now, come on. Let's bring this down. They don't even throw Patrick Mahomes 49 times. I mean, they don't. Russell Wilson had like 30 pass attempts last week. So, I mean, not even the great quarterbacks in the NFL are being asked to throw it 49 times. The quarterbacks that are being asked to do it are really sometimes the younger, like Burrow and people like that. Well, that's not where you want to be. And some of that's because you're in chase mode. I understand. We got a couple calls on the line, so let's get to it right now. We begin with Kevin. Let's get to Kevin right now. Although Kuz said we might have started with Sean. What do you want me to start with?
Kevin's already on.
Kevin's on. All right, good deal. We'll get you both in. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, guys? I just want to talk about Josh Rosen real quick because it seems like he's one of the most coddled players by the media in recent memory. Just like completely stunk up the joint. He would make excuses for him. Oh, it's this and that. And what does Kyler Murray do? He comes in and he's playing like completely changed the franchise around. They actually are competing with the best teams in the league. I just don't understand why they coddle this dude. Like, he's probably going to be cut from the league. What's the deal with that? But thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Go ahead.
So what's the deal with Josh Rosen? Well, listen, Josh Rosen was a victim of a bad circumstance. Okay, now keep in mind, remember when Josh Rosen got drafted, how he kind of had this cocky attitude towards him? So he had a chip on his shoulder already. And having that can be beneficial, and it can add a little extra motivation. But if you have too much of that, it can turn some people off, especially being a rookie. So he had that going from the rookie year. Obviously, you have Kingsbury come in. Kingsbury had different visions. Josh Rosen goes to Miami, and he does what he does in Miami. Now, obviously, you could say, well, the circumstance in Miami wasn't that good for Rosen, and I would probably agree with you. But at the same time, you know what? Ryan Fitzpatrick said, yeah, circumstances, probably not the best here, but you know what? I'm going to make it my home. I'm going to try to do the best with what I have. And that's the reason why Ryan Fitzpatrick is still the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins right now, and Josh Rosen is in no man's land.
Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? And Kingsbury wanted to reset it, and they think they could improve and get better than what they had. I still think Rosen is interested in me. I don't think he got a fair shake, number one, or there's terrible quarterback evaluators in the game. because I don't understand how you can evaluate him as a first-round pick, maybe even second-round pick at worst, and then all of a sudden say, oh, no, I mean, 16 games, that's enough. Like, he can never play again.
But
like, that's a big-time, across-the-board misevaluation in the NFL.
No, it is. But to be fair, though, Kingsbury saw Rosen's like, maybe he is a good quarterback, maybe he's not. But guess what? Like, he's not what we want.
Yeah,
like, He's not the guy that's going to spearhead my offense.
Well, but now he's going to Miami and now Tampa.
No, I hear you. And then Miami, I think, was just the fact that, listen, he just, whether it was just not enough reps or whatever the case may be, he didn't perform well. And Ryan Fitzpatrick played better than him, and it is what it is now.
Yeah, beauty in the eye of the beholder, meaning Minshew, some people could like. But if they have a new regime come in next year, it might be somebody else that they want to bring in. I mean, that happens in business. It happens in sports. Let's get Sean on real quick before we go to the top of the hour. Got to make it fast, and then we'll answer the question on the other side. Sean, what's up?
Real quick, I'm glad you guys answered that question first because now it ties into my question. Who was the perfect QB for the Jags? Who do you think would be the perfect QB for the Jags? You want somebody – for the last 7 QBs that we've had, they've been kind of just passive. They don't seem to be yelling at the line like Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers and all of them. Who would you – I mean – the Jacksonville fan base seems to want guys who want to hold people accountable while they're on the line. Who would you guys want for QB that's like that?
Very good, Sean. I appreciate it. That's a good question. It ties actually right into where we're going. Are they asking Gardner Minshew to do too much? Can he handle it? Can he do more? What does the franchise quarterback look like in Jacksonville? Some of those questions will piggyback on Sean's question when we come back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hanging out on a Wednesday. Thanks for hanging with us on 10 different platforms. You can watch on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, or listen in your car on ESPN 690, on the stream, ESPN690.com, and on a bunch of different apps as well.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those 3 words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David Suryash, Managing Tax Attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing, we can help you with your wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time to replace them. We've got great deals on wipers that can stand up to any weather. Right now, you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy 2 Rain-X Quantum wiper blades. And with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup, you can get them fast. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news from the NFL. ESPN's Field Yates reports Patriots quarterback Cam Newton will be back on the practice field tomorrow, which means he could start Sunday's game against the Broncos. Newton missed 1 game after a positive COVID-19 test. The 0-5 Jets will stick with Joe Flacco at quarterback for Sunday's game against the Dolphins. Sam Darnold still recovering from a sprained right shoulder. In the NLCS today, Game 3 with the Braves leading the Dodgers 2-0. The Dodgers nearly rallied from 7 runs down to win Game 2. Outfielder Mookie Betts.
Obviously we built a lot of momentum there. Just need to ride it into today and then win a game today and just stay on the wave. But we have to get it started today for sure.
Braves-Dodgers coverage starts 5:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. At 8 Eastern, we'll also have Game 4 of the ALCS with the Rays trying to sweep the Astros. Saturday's game in Baton Rouge between LSU and 10th-ranked Florida is being postponed. The game is now scheduled for December 12th.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, they do too. So whether you stop by a local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa Auto Care Center, or visit Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Oh, I don't care. Whatever I need to do. I've been on teams where I've thrown it 20 times a game. Been on teams where I've thrown it 60 times a game. Whatever we need to do, I'm willing to do.
That is Gardner Minshew, Jaguars quarterback. He's been throwing it quite a bit, threw 49 times Sunday against Houston. It's interesting. If you go back to last week's show, when I gave you the numbers on Russell Wilson and Gardner Minshew through 16 career starts, one of the notes I made when we were talking about those numbers is the completion percentage was somewhere similar. I want to say it was like 64% for both guys. Russell Wilson might have had a notch above by like 0.5% or something. But the amount of throws that Gardner Minshew had made in 16 games, and I at the time attributed to, hey, it's just kind of the way the NFL's going now. And, of course, Seattle had the running game, and they had a good defense, and so they weren't asking them to do too much. But it does bring you back to that conversation. Again, I'm not here to compare the two. It just reminds me of if Gardner Minshew's throwing it in his first 16 games 200 more times than Russell Wilson threw it his rookie year, so his first 16 games. Are we asking Gardner Minshew to do too much? Are you bringing – it's pretty amazing, actually. He hasn't turned the football over more via the interception. He has turned it over fumble-wise. He's cleaned that up for the most part, but had a hiccup with that a couple times already this year. There's two of them that he's had. So I think the question of is he doing too much, are they asking him to do too much, is a fair one. If you look at Gardner Minshew right now, and I'm a believer in Minshew, I think I've said this multiple times, the only way I can kind of classify it right now fully is that I think Gardner Minshew is a starting quarterback in the NFL. I really do. I think he can win games with him. I think he's proven that he can play the game and play it at a pretty good level, and you can win with him. What he hasn't proven, and we don't know this yet, and maybe the answer because we don't know it yet is he can't. That's fair. Although his 16, 17 games enough, I don't know. But can he elevate you to the point where you need to be elevated, where you want to be elevated with the Mahomeses and Wilsons and Bradys and Mannings through the years and all those guys that are obviously lifting their teams up and almost carrying their team at times, or at least elevating the play when need be. When your defense has a bad day, can the quarterback go score 35 and outscore him? Russell Wilson has proven he can do that, right? Quarterbacks around the NFL have proven they can do that. To be in the elite category, you have to be able to do that. I don't think you can rely on having everything perfect around you to be an elite, above average, kind of the guy for your franchise. And if you need all that, it's nice to have it. Like, I think you can make the case right now Ryan Tannehill is that. Tannehill is performing excellent. Look at his numbers. Somebody had the tweet today, it's better than Mahomes in the last 14 games. They're 11-3. He's got more touchdowns, less interceptions than Mahomes. Better quarterback rating. He's playing great. But he also does have right now a defense that's pretty strong and solid, a running game that's a bell cow to go to. They're winning football games, so a lot of things are going right. Come back to me when Tennessee is giving up 30 a game, and let me know if Tannehill is scoring 32, 34, 35 a game. That's what we're saying. That's the elite quarterback. Right? And again, Tannehill's playing very good football, and he's earning his money, and they've made a smart decision in their system. He's playing great. And I'm not saying he can't do that because he's already proven me wrong to this point. Maybe he can. But I do think there are levels of this. You know, Russell Wilson early in his career, there were still doubts about Russell Wilson. I know there were arguments. I remember him 3 years in, 4 years in, because he had the great defense. He had Marshawn Lynch. He was in this good situation. Well, the answer to that question has been solved in the last 5 years because Wilson lost Richard Sherman and these great defensive players, and he had to do everything. He had no offensive line. He had no weapons. And so he's elevated it. Tom Brady's won with great players, and he's won with receivers that you'd have to go look up in the program. You know? So somewhere in between, and I still think it's unfair to ask every quarterback that comes into every franchise to be Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Peyton Manning. That is the ultimate quest. That's what you're looking for. But if that's the measuring stick, you're going to fall short 9 out of 10 times.
No, I hear you, but to me, the measuring stick is also game-winning drives. And last year, Ryan Tannehill, I think he had 3 game-winning drives, and he didn't start till week 7. Right? So, like, to me, that says something about the type of quarterback he is. He's had 2 game-winning drives already this season.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what you're saying where the defense is playing, pretty well. They have a great run game. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you still have to have that clutch quarterback. You have to have that guy that has that moxie. And I know we don't give the Tennessee Titans a lot of credit, but Ryan Tannehill, the past, season and a half now, if you want to count that, he's had that moxie and he's been clutch in terms of winning ball games and creating those game-winning drives.
On the list of problems for the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, and the list of deficiencies at why you're losing football games, why you're 1-4, where is Gardner Minshew?
Well, you have to be more specific. Like, where would he?
Well, where does he? Like, why are they losing games? Like, around here.
Like, what grade would I give him?
No,
Okay.
Around here, the reason the Jags have stunk, is because Blaine Gabbert, Blake Bortles,
sure,
maybe Nick Foles when he went in there for a couple games, but when Chad Henne would play, right? Name your quarterback.
Yeah.
They've stunk because.
Well,
mostly because of that.
Also a defense. I mean, last year was a defense
Absolutely.
as well.
They've had other parts, but reason number one would be start with the quarterback.
Okay. Yeah, it always comes down to wins and losses for the quarterback.
I know that, but I don't think Gardner Minshew's on the top of the list at why the Jags are 1-4. That's my point.
Okay.
I don't think so. Maybe you do.
No, obviously I don't think so. I mean, listen, I think Gardner Minshew has played some pretty good football. Yes, he's made some mistakes, but we've talked about it before. He doesn't have anybody backing him up. He doesn't have the help of a special teams. He doesn't have the help of a defense. And unless your name is Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson, it's hard to overcome those kind of, negative factors. And unfortunately, going into your second year, he can't overcome those things. Not saying he should, because I don't think anybody really could right now with how this defense is playing. So no, it's not Gardner Minshew's fault. But at the same time, when the season's done, I think you evaluate what the quarterback position is. You're going to tie it to wins and losses, and obviously, it's probably going to be more losses right now than wins for Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, and so. Because I think about it like, hey, would Ryan Tannehill be 3-3, 4-1, 2-3 with this Jags team right now? Like, I don't know. What would Deshaun Watson be with this team right now? Maybe he'd be, 3-2. I don't know. 3-3 would be hard to beat because they've only played 5 games.
Yeah,
but
be impressive.
That's kind of where kind of like what Jason Fitz said to us yesterday. It's like, okay, if you're down 2 touchdowns in New England, who can lead you back? Do you have comfort that Derek Carr can lead you back? Well, here's the deal. Like, to answer, I thought about that a lot more, right? And Gardner Minshew's had 3-4 fourth quarter comebacks in his short career already. Derek Carr has beaten New Orleans, and he's just beat Kansas City. I don't know if he had to do it coming back 14. I mean, that's so circumstantial. I get his point. Like, I understand his point. But still, 14 points down the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, I'm still only giving you like 3 guys that I have a lot of faith in
sure, yeah.
in the NFL. So if our measuring stick is 3 guys and that's it, well, then we're always going to be looking for that guy unless you get super lucky.
Well, and listen, and that's why you're always trying to. Well, that's the point, though, Brent. It probably only is like 3 guys that you would pick for those game-winning drives. And that's why the quarterback carousel is always going on in the NFL, because everyone's trying to find those 3 guys. Everyone's trying to find those outliers that can say, you know what, even if we have a mediocre defense, even if our special team is laying us down, or even if we have adversity with injuries and things like that, we still have the quarterback that we can rally behind and win ball games. And that's why the quarterback carousel is the way it is.
Sean, we're going to bring up your question from right before the break in just a moment. But I just asked everybody, really the purpose of this segment on Minshew is simply, are they asking him to do too much? I mean, the guy has 18 starts going Detroit into his career. He's still 24 years old. it's weird, right? He doesn't feel like he's a super young guy to me. You know, like when Gabbert was around, even Bortles was around, he felt so green and raw that it felt like they were young quarterbacks for a while. Minshew doesn't feel like that.
Because he got a
me.
mustache.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it must be. But he doesn't feel like that super. Like, if you had Justin Herbert here, you'd be like, well, he's a really young quarterback. So, like, a couple of the mistakes, if he does make them or if he struggles, be like, super young, super young. Minshew doesn't feel that way to me, but he is. The reality is he is. He's played a shade more than a season in the NFL. Are they asking him to do too much? Whether it's 49 passes or whether it's 38 passes, are they asking this guy right now, in this point of his career, to carry too much freight?
Listen, I think if you put the workload of 49 passes for a game with any quarterback, it's going to be too much. Obviously, we've gone over that. You gotta find that balance. You got to be able to run the ball a little more. I'm from the philosophy, especially at the quarterback position, too much is given, much is tested. Okay, and I like to think that Doug Marrone, being in the league for a while now, and Jay Gruden obviously being the offensive, mastermind that he's been the past, almost seems like decade now, I'd like to think that they wouldn't set Gardner Minshew up to fail. I don't think they would do that because that means that their own jobs are on the line. So I think if anybody has a gauge of, if they're giving Gardner Minshew too much, it would be Doug Marrone, it would be Jay Gruden. So I don't think they're giving Gardner Minshew too much. I think this is the NFL, and this is the most cutthroat business that there is. And when you're asked to be the quarterback, there's a double standard of how much you play. For instance, look at Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins was what? A first-round pick last year, right? Played how many games? And now he's benched already? Like, if you were to draft a defensive end, a defensive tackle in that spot, it doesn't matter how bad they are. They're still going to be playing, man. Yeah. Because you want to try to squeeze every amount of, first-round draft pick out of that guy. But the quarterback's the double standard. It is the outlier. So with that being said, it's not too much because they truly got to see what they have in Gardner Minshew, because it's not only about this season, but it's about the seasons going forward as well.
Yeah, I actually agree with you.
Wow. Hey, make that a button.
Yeah. I don't like that. That's bad radio.
Wow.
Let's yell at each other.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that's nice to say about me, or is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Wait till we get into microwavable pizza or not.
Now we're easy.
I like what you just said there, though. This is Gardner Minshew's year, okay? This is the quarterback in today's football. Whether it's Kyle Trask, whether it's Walter Simmons III at Oakleaf High School, or whether it's Gardner Minshew upcoming to be Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, all of these guys. You have to be able to let it ride with them. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter much anymore how young you are. Lamar Jackson in his second year. Mahomes in his second year. These guys are MVPs. Russell Wilson had success early. Kyler Murray's having some success. He's got to win games to be in that category, but he can trend toward that way. It's an old guy game. I still think you max out in your wisdom. Maybe older, like in your 30s, about playing the quarterback position. You learn and evolve so much. I mean, how much better Russell Wilson is right now and in the last couple of years versus the first 3 years is light years away.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, but the bottom line is we ask the quarterback to do a lot. And based on experience here in Jacksonville, when you have to ask your quarterback to do less, it means you don't have one. So, again, this is a guy that died on the Bortles Hill for a long time. There's not enough around him, man. You got to do more. You got to play action. You got to run. He's not built to throw it all these times. We had the metric where if he threw it over 28 times, shoot, man, you're dead. Like, it wasn't going to be good. Well, that's playing to deficiencies. Sir, everybody's got weaknesses and strengths, but that's too much. You can't do that. The game changes every week. That position is more important than it's ever been, and it's always been important. And so if this is Gardner Minshew's year, yeah, he's young. Yeah, I think he has a long way to go in terms of gaining experience and wisdom at the position. And I do think he's going to get better. I've already told you I think he's a starting quarterback. Well, we're trying to find out if he could be a franchise quarterback in Jacksonville to elevate you and win you games for years to come and bring championships. We don't know that. But throw everything at him. Smart guy, can handle it mentally, it looks like. Throw everything at him, put it on his plate, and see if he's the guy. And to be honest with you, this is one time I don't feel in covering the Jaguars that there's not a lot around him. I think they have plenty around him. I think they have a pretty good offensive line. I think they got themselves a Pro Bowl tight end who's so far through the first third of the year stayed healthy. Now, they haven't used him a bunch. I'm not saying he's Travis Kelce, but they still have that position is performing somewhat better than it's been. It's okay. I know. It's not. They don't have Kyle Pitts and all these other guys in there. Maybe they do someday. Their receivers, a lot of people would take.
Absolutely. How could
Their
you not?
running back, nobody would take, but now you would after
Better
a month
respect
in.
him. Better believe it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So I can't come up with too many excuses for Minshew other than the defense. That's why I think the interesting thing about this season, and while it's all about Minshew, and you say wins and losses are going to come into play, and I get it, because wins and losses are going to put you in a position to maybe draft another quarterback or not.
And once again, ask Dwayne Haskins how it's panned out for him right now.
Exactly. But I believe their defense is so bad at times that it almost puts Gardner in an impossible position. I think it's less about Jay Gruden putting him in a tough spot than it is more about their defense putting him in the offense in a tough spot. And that changed last week, in fact, because I think the defense did enough to put Gardner in this offense in a good position, and they failed. They didn't do well. So Gardner's got to deliver in that time. I mean, their offense has to deliver in that stretch, and they didn't. And I don't know how many opportunities they're going to get in games like that where they have a chance to kind of dictate play. So I don't think they're doing too much with Gardner Minshew. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still critical of Jay Gruden because I don't think they run the ball enough.
Yeah.
Like 13 carries for Robinson isn't enough. Too many throws is absolutely 49. Well, don't get behind and hand the ball off more. And then that shrinks down to maybe 37, 38 passes. And that's probably a perfect plan. And you know what? If Gardner's going to throw it 30 this week because they're going to run it 30 times because Detroit's not great against the run, that's fine too. You know, but if you're going to be the guy, you've got to be able to, kind of what Gardner said at the top of this segment. I've played in offenses where I've thrown it 50 times and I've thrown it 20 times and we've been successful. Well, that's the nature of the NFL. Games vary. Sometimes you get in shootouts. Sometimes you get in these close games. We were raving about the efficiency of this offense in week 1. They only had 49 plays. Gardner did a good job. The next week, they had like 75 plays. You know what? Gardner did a pretty good job outside of the bad sack and the turnover that at the end of the game. So he proved that he can win in different styles, or at least play well in different styles. So I don't think they're throwing too much on his plate. In fact, I think that's part of the test. Part of the test is, can this guy handle it? Can he handle all this on his shoulders and help lead us there? Because guess what? If he can't, and we're saying, no, you're putting too much on him, then we've got our answer. He's not the guy.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And that's the thing about it, Brent, where we don't know what this coaching staff's going to be next year. We have no idea right now. But I will tell you this. If Jay Gruden, somehow sticks on this team and maybe becomes the head coach, I want Jay Gruden to know, you know what? I threw everything that I could at Gardner Minshew to get the proper evaluation out of him, and here's where we are with him. And whether he's the man or not going forward, so be it. But I want Jay Gruden to feel like, you know what? I got the proper evaluation. I'll make the decisions from here. Assuming, once again, that, he stays on the Jaguars, maybe becomes a head coach, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of theoretics right now. But I do agree in the fact that the defense right now is doing Gardner Minshew no favors. And to me, that's a frustrating part of me. Because I remember back in 2011, we had a top 10 defense. Well, our defense was pretty dang good. Now, we didn't get to the quarterback as much as we wanted to, but as far as bending or not breaking, we were the definition of bending and not breaking back in 2011. And you had a pretty solid run game, obviously, with Maurice Jones-Drew. But our passing game could not get it done. All right. And it put us behind the 8 ball because it was going 3 and outs. All right, defense back on the field. And that wears and tears on you after a while. I sense the same things happening right now with the defense in terms of helping the offense out. And while, yes, Gardner Minshew, he does have the weapons around him. I think he does have the right play caller. He has the running game, and he has the offensive line. It's really the first time in Jaguars history in the past maybe 10, 11, 12 years where we can say that about this team, where they have everything. They have all the components to have a successful offense and for a quarterback to be great. So yes, Gardner Minshew does have to do great. He's got to perform and everything, but I just can't stand the fact that he's not getting help from the other phases of football in terms of special teams and in defense. Because at the end of the day, I know how much of a deal that can make. And I guess what pains me a little bit and what makes me fearful is that after week 16, week 17, we're sitting here talking about the season, reevaluating it. It's like, well, so is he the guy or not? Like, I don't want to have that conversation.
Because the answer will be no on that.
Yeah, true.
Most likely.
Exactly. But I don't want to see the stats. And I've said it before, and I don't want to contradict myself here. Wins and losses are the most important thing. But I don't want to see a guy throw for all these yards, finish, top 5 in terms of touchdowns and all this stuff. And all of a sudden we're saying, well, I guess he's not really the guy, is he? Like, I want to know for sure.
Yeah.
And to me, the only way to know, like, wholeheartedly for sure is if the defense plays better.
Yeah, and I think I think they do need to give him a little bit of a chance. What you just said is interesting because I went back, I'm like, it didn't feel good. Their offense, to me, was to blame in that game. They didn't do enough. And then if you look at their second quarter, they go down and they score a touchdown. And then they end up down 10-7. And then they drive again. It's another 12-play drive late in the second quarter. And it stalls, but they try a 24-yard field goal, and they miss. You know what? By the way, not every drive results in a touchdown. Maybe Tennessee's did last night, but not every. So
Correct.
now you're 10-10.
Yeah.
Well, then they pick off Watson, and they miss the field goal. So it at the very least, I don't know if the pickoff of Watson happens if they don't miss the field goal. You never know. Yeah. But at the very least, it could have been 10-10 going to halftime or 13-10. Totally different ball game. Do you go for it on 4th and 1 in the third? Probably not. So special teams and defense have impacted, I think, decision-making, flow of the game, maybe how much you would run, how bad at times maybe Minshew is looking. It's not the only reason because he can play better. Yes. I think he can play better. I don't know if he's doing enough.
No, for sure.
And my eye test
I think
says,
he'd be the first one to tell you that.
My eye test says, well, of course he'd say it. I mean, you got to say it. Yeah. But the eye test says I'm hearing too many times from analysts he's not hitting receivers quick enough. I take you back to the DJ Chark touchdown from 2 weeks ago where he drags his feet against Cincinnati. Yeah. That ball should have been I'm a novice at quarterbacking, okay? Yeah. And that ball should have been thrown 2 seconds earlier. And I looked like he threw it into the 5th row when it left his hands, but it wasn't good timing. Like, every quarterback throws that earlier. Like, he's got to throw that earlier. Well, you're starting to hear that more. Had him open. Throw it. Why is he waiting? Okay, and then there's this antsy look sometimes in the pocket. Like, things start speeding up. Why? Is that Minshew? Is that young quarterback not seeing everything, afraid to make mistakes? I don't know. I don't know the answers, but that's my eyes are telling me. The analysts are telling me, hey, he's a little late with the ball sometimes. My eyes are telling me it looks like things are speeding up on him a little bit. Mm-hmm. So forget about the numbers other than wins and losses. Yeah. And that's where I'm like confused on Gardner Minshew right now. It's more the look of it when they do struggle or in big spots. I just don't know if he's doing enough. Numbers-wise, I'll stack him up against a lot of pretty darn good quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, the numbers are not going to be bad for Gardner Minshew unless all of a sudden they turn. Mm-hmm. They're pretty good. The eye test is a little confusing at times, and it would look and feel a lot better with another win or two.
No, without a doubt. Like, at the end of the day, you can sit back here and watch film, and you can break it down and say, all right, maybe he hesitated here. Well, that was a good play, got out of the pocket. He kept the play alive, extended the drive, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, wins and losses, it's 20/20 vision, man. All right, and that's the clearest thing of the day when it comes to the quarterback. So I've been very adamant about it. I think that if you keep proceeding to lose games, I don't think it really matters the numbers that you put up.
The beauty of it is for Gardner is he's got 11 more chances, but he's got to get going here. He's got to get going. There's pressure on him to perform. The other interesting thing is if they end up with like the 4th or 5th or 6th pick and the 2 quarterbacks are off the board, where does that leave Jacksonville? With a guy that threw for 4,000 yards and maybe 28 touchdowns and 12 picks? Yeah. Do they just build around him? Do they even make it better?
And that's the question that our caller had, right? Was like, if you go away from Minshew, where do you go next? And it could be very feasible right now that Fields and Lawrence are both gone off the board by the time the Jaguars pick. And if that's the case, then I think it's only one guy left in the draft that you really want to take a chance on, and that's Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. Now, obviously, I'm a little biased because I know a lot of guys that coach there. I've heard about Trey Lance. I've heard them compare Trey Lance to Carson Wentz, with, by the way, Carson Wentz right now, it is what it is.
play Trey Lance, I want to spray the rain can at the ants.
And it does make me a little nervous with Trey Lance as well, the fact that he's only playing one college football game this year, right? So he's going to be behind the eight ball a little bit
game
there.
That he didn't even look that good.
Yeah, so there is a little hesitation there with Trey Lance. The other option can be in free agency, but once again, how has free agency in Jacksonville worked out lately? Not too well. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it depends where you finish in the draft. It depends how many wins you accumulate through the rest of the season. But I think that if it's only going to be Trey Lance, nobody else, you might see Minshew. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any big free agent quarterbacks that are out there, but do you take a chance on that?
Dak could be available, whatever.
Well,
but
yeah, I think Dak will get locked up.
And listen, here's the deal. And Sean asked the question, to your point. What he said, and take Minshew out, take anybody out of it. What he was trying to talk about is, like, what kind of command do you want in your quarterback? Like,
that was the question.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
who does, like, obviously Peyton Manning, he was a conductor at the line of scrimmage, right? Well, very few play the position like that. You know, I'm trying to think of another guy. Like, I don't even think Russell Wilson doesn't impress me at the line of scrimmage. Like, I don't know what he does at the line of scrimmage. I see him doing Mike.
Yeah.
You know, everybody does that.
I'd say Rodgers maybe a little bit every once in a while. Because, like, Rodgers goes off his own script sometimes and doesn't listen to the calls.
Well, so you don't want that, though, because people don't want freelance. You don't know what you're getting with a freelancer.
Sure.
Unless you know he's very good at it.
Yeah.
Like, to me, Brady's interesting, right? Because Brady will always, he was like Mike, you know, pointing the Mike linebacker. Everybody does that, you know, whatever. But in his mind, he had already eliminated a couple of options before snap. Like, somebody told me one time, I always repeat it, it's like pre-snap, he's brilliant. He doesn't look like Manning looks at the line. Like, Manning looks like he's conducting an orchestra. But Brady will eliminate, out of 4 options, he's already, by the time he snapped the ball, he's got 2. And so, bam, bam, make the decision. But he beat you with his brain, and he beat you with his mind and the knowledge of the game.
Sure.
Right? So I guess to answer Sean's question, that's what I look at it when I see a guy up there at the line of scrimmage, when I see my quarterback who has command of something.
Yeah.
But I think that comes with time. Like, I don't know if you can do that. Like, listen, Herbert's playing well. He doesn't exude that. Joe Burrow's playing well. He doesn't exude that. Josh Allen's playing the best football he's ever played. I don't see that in him. So I don't know what that looks like.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess the interview process, you could maybe gauge a little bit of that. But I'll be honest, like, if it's me and it was Josh's question, I'm sorry, what's the guy's name? I totally messed. Sean, my bad, Sean. Hello. To answer Sean's question, like, what do you look for in a quarterback then? For me, it's pretty simple. Like, I think these days, and it's no disrespect, like, but I think like Jared Goff, I even think back to Mahomes a little bit, like, yeah, they're innovators and then they're great passers, but like it's also you're kind of at the mercy of what the coach calls, right? Like these are very quarterback friendly offenses right now that we find ourselves in with the NFL. And I think that when you have a very quarterback friendly offense where it's obviously short passes, play action, set up the long ball, like what I'm looking for out of a quarterback is the dual threatness. Now, I'm not saying I need a quarterback that can run like a 4-3, like a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Escapability.
But you need escapability and a quarterback that can every once in a while threaten you with his legs. A la Russell Wilson.
Tannehill did it
a la
last night.
Josh Allen. A la Aaron Rodgers. Like, they all have that in common. And I think that's where the game is going. I've said it many times before. And I think the game is going towards that dual threat look where if you're a defense, you have to be super mindful because the quarterback can take off at any second.
I don't know if we're answering Sean's question. I would sum it up like
What's
this.
what I'm looking for?
Well, I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know what he's looking for in terms of an answer.
Okay.
But what I would say is I want my quarterback to look like the game is slow. You know?
Yeah.
Like Mahomes, the game doesn't look fast. Russell Wilson looks like he's playing in slow motion and everybody else is running fast. Right now, Gardner Minshew, to me, looks like he's playing a little electronic football and he's one of those guys sped up. You know?
Sure.
And again, that's part of the curve. Like, that's part of it. There's a lot going on. It's the hardest position to play in sports. I respect that. But I want my quarterback to have such an understanding and coolness and calmness that it all looks slow.
Yeah.
The good players in sports, man, the game looks slow. From Aaron Donald to you name it. You know, baseball to LeBron. The game is so much slower for those guys than it is for others. It's an unteachable trait, I believe.
Yeah.
But you'll want to find it. And the sooner that happens in Jacksonville, I think the better off they'll be at the quarterback spot. And maybe it is Gardner Minshew. I don't know. We'll see. More on the quarterback talk. We have kind of a little thought about the draft not going to go draft talk, but just like it came up, so I want to at least mention it. And Steven's on the line. We'll get to him more on Minshew in that regard. Plus the latest on Florida and LSU and what it means for the rest of college football. On the way on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny today, an isolated brief shower in a few spots with highs in the mid-80s, dropping into the mid-60s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's Buy One, Get One wedding band sale going on now through October 24th.
My wife Stephanie was kind enough to let me drive her car for a little bit today, the Cadillac XT6. She's leasing it from Fields Auto Group. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville was awesome to work with. Different level customer service with Fields Auto Group, and the Cadillac XT6 is a really nice car. No matter what you're driving, you can step up to luxury for less. Now, at any of the Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville, Cadillac, there's Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be a part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less during an amazing opportunity. All you have to do is what we did. Go visit fieldsauto.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, you're probably looking for ways to stretch your dollar these days. So saving up to 30% on workers' comp insurance could mean more now than ever. That's why you owe it to yourself to check out your rate with Pi Insurance. With Pi, it's easy to find out if you're leaving money on the table. Just get an online quote in 3 minutes on your computer or smartphone. Simply go to trypi.com and see if you're overpaying for workers' comp. Pi Insurance was created exclusively for small businesses, built to make workers' comp work for you. With a simple online experience and trusted service, Pi is rated excellent on Trustpilot by customers who say they make getting insurance as easy as pie. What are you waiting for? Find out today if you could save up to 30% for your workers' comp insurance. Ask your insurance agent for Pi Insurance or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision, to deprive you of important local news and to watch your favorite teams at the start of football season, then make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474 and demand they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Join ESPN 690 in Shopping the 904. When you help businesses here on the First Coast, you're really helping all of us. And it keeps our local economy going. That means jobs. 2020 has been a really tough year, especially for locally owned businesses. And you can make a difference when you shop local. So if you live in St. John's, Duval, Baker, Clay, Nassau, or other surrounding counties, shop local. Shop the 904.
Shop the 904.
As the seasons change, there's one thing that never changes: the importance of clean drinking water. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. Now that's clean, and that's also why our family has a Connecticut system from CGC Water. Yours can too. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier softener. Connecticut Premier softeners are non-electric and have twin tanks, making them super efficient, saving you money. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember, this is a limited time offer, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier softener. Financing available with approved credit. Just call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
This message is brought to you by Community First Credit Union.
Here's an idea. Let's make some plans. Plans to do all the things we've been wanting to do. And let's put those plans on solid financial ground. So if you have questions about your family or business finances, we have answers. Answers that can work for you and everyone in Jacksonville.
To get started, text ANSWERS to 797979 or visit communityfirstfl.org to schedule an appointment. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliance is breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
You know Diamonds Direct is the proven value leader in diamonds. It's what we're known for all over America. But Diamonds Direct is also home to the world's finest and most sought-after jewelry designers. Literally dozens of the premier names in bridal and fashion. Jewelry most stores aren't even allowed to offer. We invite you this Friday and Saturday to be part of an epic 2-day designer event in our showroom. For both days, we turn the spotlight on our very popular A. Jaffe collection, handcrafted in New York. A. Jaffe has been meticulously designing bridal jewelry for over 125 years. We've flown in the entire A. Jaffe collection for this special event, so you can come and express your individual style and discover the A. Jaffe difference. We'll have designer representatives in store with an expanded selection, special pricing, special financing, and extra incentives. So come join us as we show off one of the elite designer collections that help make Diamonds Direct special. It's this Friday and Saturday only at Diamonds Direct off Town Center Parkway just left of the Hyatt. And as always, at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon, owner of Zero Res. Did you know that my wife and I started this little company in October 2004, 16 years ago? That's right, October 11th is our Zero Res birthday. I appreciate the wonderful folks I have met over the years, many of whom are still loyal customers today. It is a pleasure working for you. At Zero Res, our mission statement is really quite simple: to become the most trusted provider in the industry. We know that trust comes from integrity, competency, and hard work. We are always innovating to find the best ways possible to clean your carpets. Our technicians are highly trained and are all cleaning freaks. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Mention Happy Birthday Zero Res, and I will throw in the stairs or the hallway for free. That's right, the stairs are on me. Book your appointment today online, or just give us a call at 287-5727. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREZ. Zero Res.
Hey boss, don't you just love this time of year?
No.
Come on, the weather's changing, football season's here.
I don't like anything in 2020, okay?
Fair enough, but Halloween will be here before you know it.
True. That's always a good night for us crooks. Nobody gives a second look to our disguises.
Yup, all we gotta do is make sure we pick houses without Safe Touch security and we're golden.
Just mentioning Safe Touch security puts me in a foul mood.
I know, all those houses off limits to us crooks because of Safe Touch.
Yeah, they got their 45-second response time, the two-way communicator.
No freedom-loving crook messes with a Safe Touch house.
Exactly. It's why we stick to the Crooks R Us motto, stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Hey, now there's one thing that's not upside down this year.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number LVA 4188.
For more than 25 years, the potential for health improvement is seen with each patient that walks through our doors. Healthcare decisions don't have to be confusing. Make Island Doctors your medical practice.
My husband and I have been coming to Island Doctors for approximately 10 years. And we have been very happy with them, and we trust them.
Call us today and schedule a tour of one of our locations near you and take a look at our Best Wellness program. And welcome home.
Call 1-877-434-4676 or visit islanddoctors.com.
This Movember, here's to the straggly mustaches, the lopsided ones, the oddly sexy ones, the itchy, patchy, raggedy ones, the peach fuzz ones, the hey, I look good with this ones, the scruffy ones, the black, blonde, red, and gray ones, the ones grown by Dad, the ones grown for Dad. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter Update.
Happy Hump Day. I'm Jake Mitchell. In a rare Tuesday night football game, the Tennessee Titans handed the Buffalo Bills their first loss of the season in a drubbing, 42-16. This after the Titans hadn't played a game in 16 days because of multiple positive COVID tests. How good can the Titans be this season? Here's Ian Fitzsimmons.
They got leaders at every level. From Derrick Henry at running back to Rashaan Evans at linebacker, Kenny Vaccaro at safety. They have a leader at quarterback. They've got leaders at every single level. And when you have that, you've got a contender.
Elsewhere in the NFL, the hapless Jets have released star running back Le'Veon Bell. And across the state, Tampa Bay is having an incredible sports year. After the Lightning have won the NHL Stanley Cup, the Rays are one win away from going to the World Series. Game 5 of the ALCS is tonight on TBS. You're working from home and want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, we appreciate it. But your boss says you're working from home this week, so take us with you. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
There's 3 islands, and it can be very nice and lucrative, by the way. You could be a huge winner, but you could be a huge loser, too. You might not have a boat to get home.
Austin Lane.
Well, I like that now. I love that analogy.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Coaches sometimes say things that are outside their area of expertise. They're really good at what they do. Dan is really good at calling ball plays. I'll share a story with you. I mentioned Dr. Mike Lizardo earlier. I had a conversation with him yesterday, and he said, hey, since Coach Mullen is now getting into public health policy, I want to know, can I call some plays? So I told him I'd make a deal that going forward, Dan will focus on calling plays, and we'll let Dr. Lizardo focus on the public health policy.
That is Scott Strickland, Florida Gators athletic director. I bragged about him on Twitter a little bit. I bragged about him on the top of the show when we told you a little bit more about the Gators and LSU game getting canceled. Really the big story of the day in college football and here locally. The Gators won't play on Saturday, moved to December 12th if you're just jumping in on that news. And I'm not a Gator at all. Not a Knoll, not a Hurricane, not a Bulldog. I'm a Rhode Island Ram.
You're an Ashland
Eagle.
Yeah, there you go.
Rhode Island Ram, Ashland Eagle, Providence Friar.
There are a lot of Rams in Rhode Island?
Football.
Don't lie. There's not, is there?
No, I don't understand that one.
It's for alliteration, I bet.
That's a good call. It's got to be.
Should have been like the Roosters.
Cool mascot, though.
No, it's I'm not going to lie. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I was going to say something else, but I was sore. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But, do you have the Roosters? Do you have Roosters in Rhode Island?
Roosters, I think, would have been a pretty good one. I think there's some Rooster history in Rhode Island.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like it was an old team named the Roosters, like whether it was like an old hockey team or baseball team. I feel like there was. I mean, that might have been alliteration, too.
Well, true.
I mean,
but go ahead
every
and,
state has Roosters.
Listen,
I don't know if every state has Rams.
That's a good point. At the end of the day, though, this is like my 2 weeks notice, Brent, because I obviously have a gift of naming school mascots. I mean, you have the Iowa State Grouchos, or was it the Grouch? Was it the Gauchos? What was that one? What was the thing, the hurricane thing?
What was?
It was Gauchos, right?
We play the promo.
It was a Gaucho, I think.
it wasn't a Gaucho.
Yeah, wasn't it Chos? I called them the Chos.
It was a
Duracho. Gaucho. It's Gaucho. Is that a cool term to say?
I have no idea what you just did. You're right. You might have just put your 2 week notice in.
Oh, no. I hope that's not a bad word. I don't think it
Durachos.
is. Yeah, Durachos.
No, isn't like not San Diego State. There's like, I thought Gauchos is like Cal Santa Barbara,
Barbara
or something.
Good.
We're good.
Yeah, man, we're fine. Everybody chill out.
FCC's fine.
Everybody chill out.
No fines coming your way, Cox Media Group.
So a gaucho is a skilled horseman.
Okay.
Reputed to be brave and unruly. Okay. They're a national symbol of Argentina and Uruguay. So there you go.
All right.
Little culture here in ESPN 690.
So you're quitting and becoming a mascot namer.
Mascot namer, yes, sir.
Very good. That's one heck of a title. Put that one down.
Mascot namer?
Yeah.
Put it in the ZipRecruiter or whatever. Yeah. LinkedIn. Yeah.
I'm a mascot namer. Add that to your Twitter handle.
I'm not going to lie. From second grade up until about 8th grade, when I got asked what I wanted to be, some kids want to be like an astronaut or a fireman. I wanted to be a mascot. Like I seriously, really? I had an obsession with being the mascot, and then I found out that you don't really get paid for that, and I kind of ventured in a new direction.
Interesting. Let's get to Steven. He's been hanging around for a while. Steven, what's up, man? Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We'll talk a little Minshew.
Hey, not too much. Thought you guys forgot about me.
Sorry. We're talking about gauchos and derachos. And
I know. It's all right. I got my opinion here. Game plan-wise, they need to up it. Syndicate leader right there has it perfect. You got to establish the run, control the clock, and you keep Matthew Stafford off the field because Minshew ain't going to win a gunslinging match with him. Keep your defense off the field. Keep him off the field. But, I mean, honestly, with what we're seeing with Minshew, and this is just my opinion, like I said last week, his 2-minute drills are flawless. And Brent said it. In 2-minute drill, you don't overthink things. You go with the flow. And when you think about Gardner Minshew and his personality, he seems like a go-with-the-flow kind of guy. He just goes with it, doesn't overthink things. And Coos, here's some information from 3 married men in the room. If there's an argument ensuing, tap out, my friend. Tap out and let the woman be right.
Yeah.
Tap out.
Thanks, Steven. Appreciate the marital
Better
advice.
have a comfortable couch because you'll be sleeping on it. Don't worry about it.
Wow, I mean, that was out of left field a little bit.
I like that.
Up
I was
to
so
nervous. Your engagement.
I like that,
I've
man.
been nervous a couple of times. We got a text from Nick said I was really nervous where you guys were going right
With
there.
what?
But
We're good.
thankfully we Gauchos is okay to say.
Everybody relax. Yeah, we're doing a little informational stuff here. Everyone's panicking. We have a dump button for a reason.
I will say.
Yeah, it's only 8 seconds,
That
though.
would've-
We were past
that
that
would've been
point.
People
That
got
would've been
short
a pull
memories.
the plug.
Oh no! When you just got to talk about something else on LeBron James, real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Snap your fingers. LeBron James over here. Check it out.
While we're Googling if what we said is okay, it's probably better to Google before we say.
Yeah.
Little lesson.
Real fun fact. So you know how I know the word gaucho? Remember we had that work meeting at the Brazilian steakhouse place?
Yeah, we did.
So the people that waited on us, they're called gauchos. That's where I got that from. They're referred to, it says right here, they're referred to as gauchos. So the gauchos
it's a Brazilian term?
Yeah, so the gauchos prepare the food and serve it to you.
There you go.
There you
Brazilian
go.
steakhouse.
I got really excited there. I just want to make sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm hungry now.
Yeah, right? My mouth is watering.
Speaking
I
of
just ate.
hungry.
Yeah.
I got.
Do we have a question to answer, by the way?
We just did.
Okay, that was it. All right.
Speaking of hungry, first time I've had stuffed shells in forever.
Yeah.
And I got to give a shout out to Miss Jamie Grant.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing, right?
Yeah.
I come home the other night and we've got like this pan full of stuffed shells.
Yeah, that's
Right?
awesome.
Well, Steph tutors her son.
Yeah.
And so sometimes she'll come over and she'll bring like apparently she just makes, there's only 3 of them in the house, but she makes a ton of food.
Yeah,
so sometimes she'll just bring it over and we like finish it.
Yeah.
And she knows we don't cook much.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, it's like a full sheet of stuffed shells.
I'm
like, Steph, did they not like them? Like, did they not even try them?
Is something wrong with them?
She's like, no, she made like 3 different sheets of it for 3 of them. So she just always makes extra.
Dang, man.
So here it is.
Good for you guys.
I was like, so anybody else need a tutor? Steph's available. It would just cost you dinner.
And now you know how I feel
on a
about
weekly
it, though.
basis.
And we had this conversation. You didn't warm it up the right way, and I got an issue with that.
I know. I had to give a shout out to Miss Jamie first.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But this is the real story.
Yeah, man.
So today we're in a meeting.
Yeah.
With I don't even know what you'd call it, but we met with a lot of salespeople. It's like this getting to know you period. It was actually good. Like
getting to know
it's kind of one of
you.
those things where, let's be honest. Like you get the meeting, you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be such a waste of time, right? It really is.
I felt like they know who you were already.
Oh, they know who I am.
Yeah.
So, and probably not in a good way, but they. But anyway, so. Like we were talking about it after, it's like it was actually really cool. Like it was good to meet a lot of the different personalities and people.
I had some good laughs,
and especially now because you don't see anybody. Like you really have no idea who works here anymore, right?
Yep.
And so anyway, it was a good meeting. But in the meeting, somehow it came up about microwaving pizza.
Yeah, Jules, that was she was spearheading the meeting.
Yes,
brought it up. Yeah.
So I don't know how she heard about you microwaving pizza.
I was talking to her in the kitchen one day. I came across her. And we got like under this, I didn't know who she was. And she introduced herself. She's like, hey, I'm a big fan of the show. I'm like, cool, thank you. And then I didn't know that was actually her until like we talked, like we had the meeting. Like, oh, that was you. Okay. But we were in the kitchen and I was warming up some food. We got in the conversation about pizza and do you microwave pizza or not? And the correct answer is yes, you do microwave pizza. She was from the prerogative that you put it in the oven. In which case, you have to get off your high horse and say, no, you don't put the pizza in the oven. It's pizza. Just put it in the microwave, put a glass of water in there, and it takes care of the business.
Well, it was interesting that you said that because I had this thought the other day, and I was eating. Well, it'd be a shameless plug for Donato's Pizza, but I was eating Donato's Pizza.
It's never a shameless plug.
And I was And I've said this before, I like the cold pizza. And so I don't mind the cold pizza at all. I actually like it.
Grow up, but okay, go on.
So
we're not in college anymore.
I know, but so I was thinking of this. I genuinely, this was because this was in the house. I was eating cold pizza. I'm like, maybe I should heat it up. Nah, just being lazy. No, I don't like it. Like I would rather second day pizza cold than I would heat it up.
Yeah.
Like, no, seriously. I would rather
but
have it that way.
Neanderthals, though, Brent, right? Why? Like, think
it
about it.
Tastes better.
No, it doesn't.
That's why you can't microwave pizza, is my point.
Brent, do you go to a pizzeria and be like, hey, you know what? Just go ahead and put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer for 20 minutes after it's done, and I'll take care of it from here.
Freezer.
Well, that's what, like, you get cold pizza. Like, no, man.
No, if you go get pizza and the pizza is hot and it gets delivered, or you go get it, then pizza's good warm.
Yes,
but if you have to the next day heat it up,
because it's soggy. Because it's soggy.
I don't know what it is. It's not good. I'd rather have it cold. It tastes better cold.
Well, next time you want to try the pizza and maybe have a little more crispy texture to it, do what I said to do. Take a cup of water, put it in the microwave with your slice of pizza, stand back, and watch the magic that ensues.
All right.
That's all I'm going to say.
I will say this. Until you just told me about the stuffed shells, warming them up and putting a glass of water in there, I had never heard that.
Yeah. Go ahead and Google it. It's a real thing.
And explain why.
I mean, you really put me on the spot like that? So listen.
Well, just tell me what.
Okay, I got a D- in high school in chemistry.
It doesn't matter if it's wrong or right.
Okay.
Do you think people are really going to call in and say, Austin's wrong about this?
ESPN 690 was trying to make it. All right, so check this out, everybody. So, by my understanding, and keep in mind whose understanding this is, it's me. But my understanding, a microwave's job, it's that it takes the molecular structure of the food and it sucks the moisture out of it. So it kind of vibrates the moisture, and that's what actually heats up your meal. It's not so much that it's hot in a microwave, but it affects the water molecules in your food. If you take a cup of water and put it in the microwave with a pizza or pasta or something like that, the microwave, for whatever reasons, focuses more on the molecules in the glass of water than it does on your food. So the water and the condensation in your food that's supposed to get, mixed up and everything, it doesn't get as mixed up, but it still gets heated up. And in doing so, it doesn't create things that are so soggy and they're still crisp. Once again, I encourage everybody to look it up. Don't listen to me, just look it up.
Put a glass of water in with your next microwavable item.
Yeah. Well, if it's like a pasta or a pizza.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Try it.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Google it.
I didn't do it, and the stuffed shells were fine.
We got a comment from Ryan Smith. Austin, people from Rhode Island are weird like that. My wife eats this party pizza, which is cold. It's a thing up here.
Yeah. And tell them that it's probably got no cheese on it. It's just sauce and bread, and it's awesome. Confirm that.
I'm done.
It's awesome.
I'm done.
By the way, Jags made a trade for a linebacker. I'll tell you about it when we come back.
Dough and sauce?
It's awesome. It's fantastic.
Dough sauce.
It's great.
What is wrong with you people?
More on the Jags trade for a linebacker, apparently, on ESPN 690.
Attention all Camry buyers. If you've been wanting a new Camry, then I've got great news for you, because today's the day to get your Camry and save big at Arlington Toyota. It's the Today's the Day sales event going on now at Arlington. And they've made a special purchase of 2020 Camrys. That means they've got 132 new 2020 Camrys in stock and ready to sell. But with a deal like this, you got to get yours before they're all gone. Make today the day you save big at Arlington and buy a new 2020 Camry at 0% for 60 months plus no payments for 90 days. And with every new vehicle purchased from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. Want a new Camry? Then today's the day, but they're going fast, so don't wait. Shop safely in person. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/today's the day for full details.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, you're probably looking for ways to stretch your dollar these days. So, saving up to 30% on workers' comp insurance could mean more now than ever. That's why you owe it to yourself to check your rate with Pi Insurance. With Pi, it's easy to find out if you're leaving money on the table. Just get an online quote in 3 minutes on your computer or smartphone. Simply go to trypi.com and see if you're overpaying for workers' comp. Pi Insurance was created exclusively for small businesses. Built to make workers' comp work for you with a simple online experience and trusted service. Pi is rated excellent on Trustpilot by customers who say they make getting insurance as easy as pie. What are you waiting for? Find out today if you could save up to 30% for your workers' comp insurance. Ask your insurance agent for Pi Insurance or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliance is breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
The 2020 Florida-Georgia game is happening Saturday, November 7th, and Tailgaters Parking is open and has premier tailgating spots for you, your friends, and family. Tailgaters Parking has been a fun, friendly, and fantastic tailgating venue for football fans for 17 years now. Tailgaters is located across from TIAA Bank Field and offers reserved parking, security, clean fixed restrooms, a bar and grill at the pavilion with easy access before and after every game. Go to tailgatersparking.com and reserve your RV or car parking today.
Fall is in the air. Fall projects are on the list, and the Home Depot is ready with more ways than ever to help. Use our mobile app to search, shop, and save. Choose flexible delivery options that bring everything you need right to your door. And if you need tools for a project, but not forever, you can rent them. You won't find a better toolbox anywhere else. Take on fall and fall projects now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
During difficult times, young military families feel the impact. When a military spouse is unemployed, the whole family struggles. The Armed Services YMCA answers the call and provides assistance to ensure military children have plenty to eat and childcare that enables military spouses to work. Now more than ever, we need your support to provide emergency relief to military families. Help now at helpymca.org.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by ***, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded *** Mobile number, *** Mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Bring a little spice into your sex life. Adam and Eve Adult Store. It's the trusted name in adult entertainment. Secure private shopping experience at AdamEveOutlet.com. That's AdamEveOutlet.com.
Military veterans, now is the time to purchase your new home. Home Steps is a nonprofit organization that helps veterans achieve home ownership. Take advantage of the many benefits that's available just for you. Call Latasha Looper today at 904-574-7180.
Hey everybody,
everybody. This is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Field Yates reports when the Patriots get back on the practice field tomorrow, quarterback Cam Newton will be there. Newton could be back on track to start Sunday's game against the Broncos. Cardinals linebacker Chandler Jones will have season-ending bicep surgery. He got hurt against the Jets Sunday. He'll need 3 to 4 months to recover. For the first time since 1949, the NFL is canceling the Pro Bowl. Although the teams will still be named, Las Vegas, which was scheduled to host, will host in January of 2022 instead. The Braves lead the NLCS 2-0 over the Dodgers. Atlanta manager Brian Snitker says his pitching staff has done a good job on the top of the Dodgers order.
We got some really capable left-handed options in our bullpen, and the way their roster is, and their lineup is situated, mainly that it's just kind of worked out.
Our Game 3 NLCS coverage starts at 5:30 Eastern on other ESPN radio outlets. We'll also have Game 4 of the ALCS starting at 8 Eastern Time.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, they do too. So whether you stop by a local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa Auto Care Center, or visit Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I think there a couple of them might have been 2-minute situations where Chris is our third down back, and he's the guy that runs the option routes and the choice routes in the backfield, so that could have been the case. Maybe they're third down as well. But obviously, like to have Chris or James in there. I don't know if it was 15 or 16, but we had a couple of packages where he might have been out of the game, but for the most part, James should be in there, unless it's 2-minute or third down.
I thought that was interesting. I think Gene Fournette brought it up, said 15 out of 16 plays. I want to say down in the red zone area, Robinson was out. I think the one play he was in might have been the 4th and 1.
Yeah. I mean, all that panned out.
So Jay Gruden said he regrets the 4th and 1 play. And there was a lot of emphasis today on the talk of the first 3 quarters that they're more balanced than it looks because they're playing from behind, although I think everybody admits they need to give it to James Robinson more. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, my concern this week is they just go total 180, and all of a sudden James Robinson has like 28 carries, and they don't throw the ball at all, and now we're begging for him to throw it.
They start running the wishbone or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And put Miller back there finally. Is he still on the team, by the way? Sorry. Is he still on the team?
I looked yesterday.
Bruce Miller. Okay.
Yeah, and he is.
Okay.
I was like, did we miss a transaction in here?
Yeah.
And apparently we have not. So you got to be careful not to go the complete other way. Mm-hmm. I think if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars in this situation and just panic and again, I call it grasping for straws because if you just stick to what you got, just do it a little bit better, right? I mean, that's probably some of the things that they're teaching and preaching to these young guys. You don't need to go off the cliff here because I think there's a lot of good things they're doing on offense. I mean, if you count up their drives and how many good drives they've had, there's been a lot of them. They missed a ton of points the last 2 weeks, from a couple of plays, a holding penalty, missed field goals, 4th and 1s. They've missed a ton of point opportunities in the last couple of weeks. And so I would say you're not that far off, but you also have to account for the opponent's weakness.
Yeah.
And that's really what I think they've got to do a better job of. We'll see if they do it. Hey, the big news of the Florida Gators LSU game postponed. It was supposed to play Saturday at 4 o'clock. Not happening. COVID-19. Dan Mullen, if you're just jumping in, Scott Strickland, the AD, said that more than half the scholarship players are either quarantined or tested positive. There are 21 players in all that have tested positive, 3 walk-ons, 18 scholarship players. And so everything's shut down at Florida right now. Mm-hmm. You brought up an interesting question earlier. It's like, what's the Big Ten thinking? Well, I would say, I would even expand that. What's the rest of college football thinking? You know, what is this just like, hey, we knew this would happen. Don't panic. This is bound to happen. You know, I mean, it's this kind of world we're living in, but don't panic here. Or do you start reconstructing the way you're thinking, especially if you're a Big Ten, especially if you're a Pac-12, especially if you're some of these conferences that opted in once they saw it working and people playing, and there was a lot of pressure for them to say, hey, we're going to play. They succumbed to that pressure, and now there might be some messy scheduling conflicts. You don't even know if you can make it through it. What should the rest of college football do?
Man, I think that right now this is one circumstance, right? So I think that you're pot committed. It's all systems go, and you hope that it works out. And they're not the only team, keep in mind. Like, I think, Notre Dame missed a couple, like 2 games, right? Or just one game.
Well, they had a bye week 1.
Okay, so it was one game. Yeah. So, I mean, Florida's not the first school to go through this. Now, Notre Dame obviously came out the other side looking okay. They're back playing football again. So it's not the death sentence, let's just say. And I think if I'm the Big Ten right now, if I'm the Pac-12 coming out, like, obviously there's going to be more caution now. But to me, I mean, they're already at a lose-lose situation as it was, right? Because you made the mistake of kind of jumping the gun a little bit and saying, we're not going to play. And then you came around and said, well, we are going to play. And now if you come back and all of a sudden everybody's forfeiting because everyone's getting sick, well, then you're going to look pretty bad when you went against your word once again and said, well, we're going to come back and play. Maybe we should have stayed out, of the pool, let's just say like that. So right now, I'm not going to panic quite yet, Brent. But obviously, it deserves your attention. It deserves to be a little more, I guess, negative in how you feel about the college football future shaking out. And if it's going to happen in Florida, where else is it going to happen?
Yeah, I think it gives people pause. I don't think there should be any, radical reaction to this.
Yeah, I'm not hitting the panic button.
I think there's been here's what you do. The headlines are what is the cancellation, right? The positive tests. What did they do in the course of travel to Texas A&M that changed from maybe their course of travel against Ole Miss? Because they went to Ole Miss and the numbers didn't go crazy. They played a home game in the Swamp. Numbers didn't go crazy. They went to Texas A&M. The numbers spiked. So what happened? They have to figure that out, and they're still in the process of. Scott Strickland said, hey, we believe, our suspicion is the word he used, is that's where this thing went awry. So you've got to have ADs and schools talking to each other, coaches talking to each other about what are you doing and the precautions that you're taking. He said something interesting today in the news conference. Said he doesn't think, based on the information that he's received from doctors and other teams, whether it's soccer teams, NFL teams, anybody else, that COVID has been given to others in open air practices. So, like, if you're outside and if you're in a game, the transmission from one person to another, they haven't seen that. Like, he went as far as say there might not even be a case of it.
Sure.
But if so, they're very rare.
Yeah.
It's so more about where those closed situations are. Planes, buses.
Parties. You're in college, parties.
Beaches.
Yep.
Bars.
Yep.
If you're not doing the right thing inside facilities, those kind of things. So weight rooms, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. So they feel pretty safe if they're minimizing the risk internally at their, say, campuses or headquarters. And then once you get outside, it doesn't seem to be a bit as big of a problem. At least from the folks that have experienced this in leadership positions right now. That's what Scott Strickland was indicating today. So it really does eliminate some of the, cause for concern, because now you just go back and retrace what you did. Like, what have you been doing? Like, is it a party, right? Yeah. Is it a bus or a plane that you took? You have to go track those steps and trace those steps and figure out, okay, what's the solution here? How do we not let this happen again?
Is it 90,000 fans at a football game in the Swamp? No. Listen, and I've been very adamant about this. I think the NFL is one thing because obviously you're getting paid a lot of money to be a professional, and the Titans failed with flying colors, if you will, in doing that. Hopefully there's no more circumstances like that. But college is different. College is different when you have students on campus, when you have, college kids doing college things, and that includes partying. Like, I think that it's unrealistic to ask universities and kids, especially even football players, and I get there's a lot at stake, but to expect those football players to all just follow the rules and say, you know what, I'm not going to go out, during this bye week. I'm not going to go out on a Sunday night because I'm just going to stay home, watch Netflix because that's what's right. Like, yeah, there's going to be a majority of people that probably do that, but there's definitely a minority of kids that want to get out there with the full college experience, and unfortunately that comes at the circumstances of maybe canceling some football games.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's a tougher. It's easy to sit here, from far away and be like, yeah, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. I do think there's almost this, once you're playing sports and you're living your everyday life, there's almost this comfort level of like, oh, okay, we're kind of back to normal, right? And so for a college kid, it's even more that.
Yeah.
And this also, again, Strickland was saying it was like sniffles and allergy-related things, which, by the way, I think we're all wondering, okay, every time I sneeze, every time I sniffle, okay, is this allergy season coming up? Which I think I even said to you in a break the other day. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, because I'll have allergy season coming up.
Sure.
Is it allergies?
Yeah.
Do you have something? Like, how do you tell the difference?
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the concern of, guys were complaining of stuff that could have been anything, any year, and all of a sudden it was, COVID-19.
Yeah.
So,
Listen, at the end of the day, college kids are going to be college kids. Like, part of the experience of playing college football is when you walk into those parties, people start to whisper, that guy's really big. He must play for the Florida Gators, things like that. Now, I never got to experience that. I went to Murray State, and they're like, does he play basketball? No, he plays football. Whatever. He's not a basketball player, so be it. But that's, it's part of being a college kid. I just hope that a majority and most of those, student athletes out there get what's at stake right now and obviously do the right thing.
All right. Speaking of COVID-19, the Jaguars have just traded for a player that's on the COVID-19 list.
Yep.
For the Tennessee Titans, an in-division trade.
Yeah, interesting.
And they did that within the last hour. National reports and can confirm that a source has also confirmed that to me, that the Jaguars are making this trade.
And according to Mark Long here, the Jaguars have traded a 6th-round pick in 2021. And then the Jaguars get the player and Tennessee's 7th-rounder in 2021.
The player is...
There it is.
I know this player, but I'm going to make sure I say his name right.
There it is. Come on, Brent. What do you got for us?
Kamale Correa. That's how you say it. Kamale Correa.
Kamale Correa.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is Correa the one that made the nice play on the squib kick? Is he the one that did that in the Tennessee game?
Might have been.
He might not be. For some reason, his name comes to mind that he might have made that play. Somebody shoot me a tweet.
I don't know. All I know about this guy is he's got a St. Louis Cardinals tattoo on his arm, so he's off to a horrible start.
Bad start.
Yeah, not going to be on the show anytime soon. Sorry, man.
I don't care about the Cardinals tattoo.
Well, I do. It's like having a Yankees tattoo, Brent.
Why did the Jaguars trade for an outside linebacker?
Oh, he's an outside linebacker?
A
linebacker in general.
I thought he said he was an outside
linebacker.
linebacker.
Listen, I mean, when you break down the moves here, like, linebacker's not the need right now, I would say, right? I think more maybe interior defensive line. I'll tell you what kind of, and once again, it's a 6th-round pick, so call it what you want it.
Well, by the way, they swapped picks, so the picks are almost irrelevant.
Pretty much.
The Titans got a 6th, and the Jags get their 7th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a swap of picks. So, for the player, it's
so maybe like special teams purposes. Yeah, so special teams purposes, possibly also. Like, the thing that's kind of eerie, though, is the fact that he's on his last year of his contract. So the Jaguars have him essentially for this year, and then he's free to do whatever he wants to do. Now, maybe he makes an impression, maybe he sticks on this team, but, like, I have a hard time believing that a guy that you sign with 12 games left now, 11 games left, is going to stick around for another contract.
Well,
so that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's someone they start building toward. Listen, I don't know enough about him to know. I do think he is a special teams player.
Yeah.
The linebackers usually are. It adds some depth at linebacker. I mean, to me, this is a pretty, whatever kind of trade. This isn't a blockbuster. This isn't getting a headline. I don't even know where it will factor in. I don't even know if we'll notice him on the field, whether it is special teams or at linebacker. Is it a depth play? Is it a forward thing? I mean, listen, the Jaguars in their linebacker spot are fine. They have Miles Jack. They have Joe Schobert. They're paid them. I mean, so they're invested in their linebacker.
But it begs the question, too, the strong side linebacker, right? Because
that's what we think he is, right?
Yeah, so I'm saying Leon Jacobs got hurt. Cassius Marsh kind of went the edge a couple times last week against the Texans.
So they don't have confidence in Marsh.
So possibly it could be Marsh where they need a guy to stop the run on those, first and second downs in that base package.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it plugs a hole, maybe helps on special teams. It's just not a wow trade.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that it comes with the Tennessee
And
Titans.
also, I want Shaq Quarterman to play as strong side linebacker so I can go 3 for 3 in my predictions in training camp.
That's an interesting part of it, too. It's like, is this more of a depth or is he not ready?
Shaq Quarterman?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's more of a middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker, but he could. I mean, tell me the nuances of sliding from Mike to strong side.
Very, very small nuances.
Because they asked, well, first of all, they've asked Miles to play every linebacker position.
Correct.
And they asked Puz to do it.
It would be the easiest transition to go from middle to Sam as opposed to going from middle to weak or weak to middle. I mean, it's the easiest transition.
Well, it's almost like you're a different kind of style of guy on the weak side, right? No
Correct.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a speed, agile, super
it's
athletic
more
guy.
east to west. You have to read and recognize. You have to react and have
Puz
speed.
could not have played weak side.
No. Strong side, it's more of think of like a box safety, right? Like where you have essentially one gap. You got to stop the run. You got to be physical. You got to come downhill, and you have to be able to see what's happening in front of you.
So anyway, the Jaguars make a trade for a linebacker from the Tennessee Titans and Kamale Correa.
Nice.
Kamale Correa. There it is. I still want to find out if he's the one that got the squib kick.
Yeah.
I feel like I might be right on that.
I mean, I can Google it quick. I can find out.
I just want to really put a feather in my cap and be like, that's him.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but it could be him.
And it won't be the first time. Let me check it out here.
All right. More on the Titans because I do want to mention something about the Titans. I tweeted this yesterday, okay? As the Titans won after a 15-day layoff and the Titans dealing with all the COVID stuff, and they created their own mess, by the way. Sorry, Ryan Tannehill. Sorry, Taylor Lewan, the victims of COVID-19.
Cry me a river, huh?
But you have to acknowledge this, and this is what I said, and I'm sorry if it sounds harsh. I've been around here long enough to know.
They cheated because they were working out together the whole time.
They did that, too.
Yeah.
You don't need practice.
Yeah.
But I said, Jags have such a long way to go again. There's no way they would win a Tuesday night game after dealing with COVID for 15 days. The mental toughness and winning culture Vrabel has created in short order is impressive. They don't wow you, they just win. And again, I'll remind you the stats. I mean, it's like 188 yards passing, at least at the time, I think, when I wrote this, for Tannehill. 57 yards rushing for Derrick Henry, even though the stiff arm did wow you. And they were just super efficient, and they do what they do. And it reminded me of something you say about the Titans, because I can't stand the Titans. But when you try to talk me into the Titans sometimes, you say they know who they are, right? And once again, super evident that they know who they are. And they don't need practice to reassure them of who they are. That win was a mental toughness win, in my opinion. The Bills are pretty good, but the Titans showed that in the first 3 games of the season, they showed they know how to win. They won by a combined 6 points. Then they have all this stuff happen. And all they do is go out and put their best performance of the year. They score 42 points, perfect in the red zone, 7 touchdowns, and just execute with super efficiency. I think they accomplished something from a turnover and scoring in the red zone that New England did like back in 2007 and 8. So it hadn't been done in the league since then. How do the Jags get it? Like, what we've seen so many tries and attempts at trying to fix it.
Yeah.
You can't fault the Jags for trying. I mean, they've had GMs and coaches and owners and quarterbacks and some good players, some swings and misses. You know, everybody tries to plug the holes and figure out the formula to win. Some people do it better. And sometimes you do it better with a franchise quarterback and you start building around them. Patrick Mahomes, the combination of him and Andy Reid, and by the way, a core talent that was already there. You can't dismiss that. They had 6 Pro Bowlers coming off that one season where they were bad, got Andy Reid, and now you add to it, they got Alex Smith, then they got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You know, so they turned losing into winning. See, Baltimore's not a fair comparison, although they tried something outside the box and different, took a gamble. It worked with Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
But they know how to win. They've already had that winning culture. The Pittsburgh Steelers, let Le'Veon Bell go, Antonio Brown go. You still got Tomlin. You lose your quarterback, and you still win like 8 games last year or 7 games, whatever they did.
8.
And because they've won. They know how to win. Like, it's already there. I'm talking about the teams that have turned it around. Like in Buffalo, it looks like they're trending to a spot where they're going to win for a bit. Like, I don't know how big, but this wasn't like, hey, they went to the playoffs against Jacksonville and then they went 2-14.
They regressed.
No, they went from the playoffs in Jacksonville. That was the early part of the build. Now they continue to get better and better, and they're probably the favorites in the AFC East right now. Mm-hmm. They were patient with a quarterback. They got McDermott in. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously been very good. Mm-hmm. And then some of their personnel moves, they did take a bit of a gamble. They went out and said, hey, we need Stephon Diggs. Yeah. We're going to trade away what looks like a lot. At least it did to me. And Stephon Diggs has worked out. The Rams, what did they do? Well, to me, what they did is McVay. Like, McVay is totally different. He was this new wave. They took a chance on a young coach, and they hit on it. Mm-hmm. Who's my other? Oh, the Raiders. The Raiders said, hey, we're going to take a guy out of the booth. And John Gruden, obviously, there's history there. Yeah. But we're going to give him a 10-year deal. And we're going to take Mike Mayock from the NFL Network, and we're going to give him the opportunity to do it. And honestly, I'm not even sure if that's working totally. Mm-hmm. But it looks like it could be trending in a decent direction. There's different ways to do it. The Jags have to find the way to do it, because what Tennessee did is they took a guy that, if you were around the NFL – and if you've heard people talk, people said for a long time Mike Vrabel's going to be very good. Yeah. Right? They, by the way, did take a chance. Mike Mularkey's in Atlantic Beach right now, even though he had 2 winning seasons, like 2 of the winning seasons that Tennessee had in like the previous decade. They still said, you know what? I don't think he's our guy. We're going to go with a different guy, and we're going to go get Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Yep. So they did take a chance, and then they took a chance on Ryan Tannehill that worked out. They kind of fell into a little bit too, but they're now taking a chance with the big contract.
So what was the question?
Well, I'm always...
What do the Jaguars have to do?
Searching for how do you turn it around,
okay,
right?
Gotcha.
How do you turn these? I'm giving you examples of places that have lost, like the Rams,
simple.
the Titans, the Bills, the Raiders that have lost, and now they're winning. How?
Listen, so how do you turn it around, right? There is a reason why the Tennessee Titans, at least when I was making my preseason predictions, that they're going to be a shoo-in way to win the AFC South. And it was simply from the fact that when you're going through COVID-19 and everything's different, all you have to fall back on is your identity. And the Tennessee Titans know exactly who they are. Now, I made a mistake last night. I said that I thought the Bills are going to win. But far be it from me, I'm like, well, you know what? The Tennessee Titans know who they are. Why wouldn't they win when they're going through adversity? Why wouldn't they win when they sat out for like 12 straight days? We're at home, supposedly, not practicing. They already know who they are. The hard part's over. It's funny because in the NFL, we always want to say when it's teams like the Jets, like it's the Jaguars, like it's the Giants, what do you want to do first? You want to blame the coaching and say, well, the coaching stinks. The coaching here. Get rid of the coach. But when teams have success and when teams win, and set aside from the New England Patriots, you want to talk about the players first before the coaches. People want to talk about Patrick Mahomes before you talk about Andy Reid. People want to talk about Lamar Jackson before you talk about Harbaugh. People want to talk about Russell Wilson before you talk about Pete Carroll. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say the fact that what all these teams have in common is that the coach's personality and the coach's identity is reflected in their play, right? That's why I'm such a fan of how the Tennessee Titans operate. Now, yeah, I'm not a Titans fan, obviously, but I respect what they've done to change that culture around, because Mike Vrabel is an old school kind of guy. He believes in pounding the rock and playing solid defense. It showed in his play when he was in the league, and it shows right now. The Tennessee Titans are the quote, essential personality of Mike Vrabel. Same thing with Mike Tomlin. Hard-nosed, all about the business, no-nonsense type of football, which has always been the Steelers' way, but Mike Tomlin personifies that. Pete Carroll, you saw a little bit where it was like, this defense, this brash, state-of-the-art defense, and now he's evolved where it's more of like a fun-loving offense that Russell Wilson has the control of. and obviously Andy Reid, I don't really need to talk about Andy Reid because you know what he's bringing to the table. So my point is that the teams that are having success right now, and in Buffalo, McDermott's the same thing, Brent. You want to talk about the Buffalo Bills? Yeah, they got Josh Allen, but guess what? They're going to pound the rock first and do what? Play tough defense, a blue-collar mentality. That is McDermott personified. Listen to any interview with him at the microphone. The guy is old school to all get out. So when I put all that together, it's that the Jaguars got to find somebody that has an identity. I don't care if it's offensive-minded or old-school defensive-minded, but it's got to shine through in the way this team plays. And I think even if we go back to 2017, I don't think Doug Marrone's personality, per se, has ever been personified on this team. I don't think a lot of coaches that have coached here, their personality has shined through with these players.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I think about what you say about the identity a lot, and what I come back to here in Jacksonville is I still don't know what the hell the identity is of this football team. I think if I look at Doug Marrone right now, I think that would be my main criticism of him is I still don't know what the identity of this football team is. I didn't last year. I don't this year, and we're 5 games in. And we talked about this a lot in the offseason is you got to establish that identity. What's it going to be? I thought it was going to be the offense. I'm still not really sure it is the offense. Back in 17 when they did win, and I'm not saying it's an automatic win, right? If you know your identity, doesn't mean you're automatically going to win and win big. But when they did win, we knew what their identity was. They came in and said, we are going to be physical up front and we're going to run the football.
Yeah.
They knew that. And obviously their defense was a big part of their identity too. But even offensively, even with some of their, lack of talent, lack of explosiveness, lack of whatever on offense. I don't know how many people would have signed up for their offense. They still knew who they were, right? And they gave the ball to Leonard Fournette, and they followed that offensive line, and they wanted to be physical. That's why they had a tough camp, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, outside of that, and again, maybe it just is because they won that I know that happened. I don't know, the chicken or the egg type thing. But outside of that, I feel like it's a funny thing because Shad Khan has been so loyal that he's kept continuity. And I think he's tried to do the continuity thing at the coaching and GM because he looks at places like Pittsburgh and New England and they've kept, they keep those guys around. Sure. But if you really look at it, they have been super inconsistent.
Yeah,
super inconsistent with their methodology, with what they believe in, with who's actually running the show, with all this stuff. Like, even in these last 4 years, Tom Coughlin was running the show. Then it shifted to Doug Marrone. Now Tom Coughlin's out. Now we're a defensive team. No, we're an offensive team. I mean, it's really been inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think back to when I had Jack Del Rio as a coach, right? When I first came in my rookie year. And we went 8-8, but we still underachieved. But, we knew who we were. Jack Del Rio, the very first day of training camp, he established what we were going to be. Simple as that. And if we didn't live up to those expectations, then we were out of here. I just feel like right now you have a team that you can't really say what they are. And if you're a Jaguars fan and you're like a message board or something like that, you're in public, and, let's say a Chiefs fan or some other fan from a different team asks you, hey, what are you guys for identity? You can't answer that question? Well, then you're probably going to be set up for failure. Yeah. Simple as that. You got to know who you are.
I don't know if you can answer that question for the Jags.
Well, then you got a problem.
Do you?
No, you can't. And that's why you got a problem.
Yeah. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Rays and Braves are unbelievable, by the way. They're really good. Might mention them next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Fair to partly cloudy tonight with a brief shower near the coast as temperatures drop into the 60s. Partly sunny for Thursday. A few scattered showers moving in off the Atlantic every once in a while. As temperatures reach the mid-80s, cooler at the beaches. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Bird.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's Buy One, Get One wedding band sale going on now through October 24th.
Hey, boss. Guess who I saw at the grocery store today?
I don't know. Elvis?
No, I saw your mom.
Ah, she doing good today?
Yeah, she's great. Said to say hello. Oh, and to thank you again for the Safe Touch security system you got her.
Ah, Safe Touch. The source of all my internal conflict.
Huh?
See, on one hand, as a cook, I hate Safe Touch security. But as a son, I love Safe Touch because they help protect my ma.
Yeah, she loves having the medical and panic buttons. Oh, and the two-way communicator's been great. She says Safe Touch makes her feel safe.
And so my personal tug-of-war continues. I hate Safe Touch. I love Safe Touch.
Well, love 'em or hate 'em, we still got to stick to the Crooks R Us motto, stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah. Unless it's Mom's house.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Appliances may work on your schedule, but they quit on theirs. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we'll get your appliances back up and running in no time at all. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have repaired more than 100,000 appliances over the past 35 years, servicing Jacksonville to St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee. When your appliances quit, we're ready to get started. For quality repair at a price that's fair, visit AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Our legal team can help you understand your options after an accident. We will file your claim and fight for the full compensation you deserve. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
If you're getting married soon, here's how you can save thousands.
Going on now through October 24th. Buy any lady's wedding band and get the men's band free.
Yes, free. And only at Beard's Diamonds.
Beard's Diamonds has brought in extra inventory just for the sale.
All stackable, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and wedding bands.
All at the guaranteed lowest price.
And it's only at Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
For the ones working tirelessly to keep their coworkers safe. For the ones rising to new challenges. For the ones rebuilding stronger than before. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, safety recovery guides, and 24/7 support. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jax Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jaxcoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
Back to school also means back to Friday night football. Get to the game in style in a new Honda from Honda of the Avenues. Their incredible summer clearance event is going on now to make room for the new 2021 models. Find great deals and haul the whole team in a new Odyssey, Pilot, or CRV. Plus, Hondas are safe and reliable, just what you and your team need. Don't miss kickoff. Stop by the Honda Giant on Phillips Highway just a few yards south of the Avenues to see all their inventory, or start looking right now at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
For more than 25 years, the potential for health improvement is seen with each patient that walks through our doors. Healthcare decisions don't have to be confusing. Make Island Doctors your medical practice.
My husband and I have been coming to Island Doctors for approximately 10 years, and we have been very happy with them, and we trust them.
Call us today and schedule a tour of one of our locations near you and take a look at our best wellness program, and welcome home.
Call 1-877-434-4676 or visit islanddoctors.com.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Soon, it will be time to make important decisions about your Medicare prescription drug coverage. Shine counselors provide free, unbiased help in selecting a Medicare Part D or Advantage plan. If you have questions, Shine can guide you through the enrollment period ending December 7th. For more information or to volunteer, call 1-800-963-5337 or go to floridashine.org.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com. ESPN 690 wants you to shop the 904. And by doing that, you keep most of the money and jobs right here on the First Coast. Plus, local businesses give our community its uniqueness and character that makes living on the First Coast so great.
Shop the 904.
Bring a little spice into your sex life. Adam and Eve Adult Store. It's the trusted name in adult entertainment. Secure private shopping experience at AdamEveOutlet.com. That's AdamEveOutlet.com.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Hump Day. I'm Jake Mitchell. In a rare Tuesday night football game, the Tennessee Titans handed the Buffalo Bills their first loss of the season in a drubbing, 42-16. This after the Titans hadn't played a game in 16 days because of multiple positive COVID tests. How good can the Titans be this season? Here's Ian Fitzsimmons.
They got leaders at every level. From Derrick Henry at running back to Rashaan Evans at linebacker, Kenny Vaccaro at safety. They have a leader at quarterback. They've got leaders at every single level. And when you have that, you've got a contender.
Elsewhere in the NFL, the hapless Jets have released star running back Le'Veon Bell. And across the state, Tampa Bay is having an incredible sports year. After the Lightning have won the NHL Stanley Cup, the Rays are one win away from going to the World Series. Game 5 of the ALCS is tonight on TBS. Working from home and want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
Brent Martineau.
Then I said, still looking for his fourth career sack.
Austin Lane.
I'm spending pretty much every single day with somebody for pretty much 2 years now that you know somebody. And they surprise you. I sit here before you right now, and I am surprised.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
He stung him pretty good, and he lost feeling. But I think, after he got through that inning and came back in, he got all of his strength back and all, and he should be okay. We'll see in the morning.
Was funny bone thing? Or?
Yeah, just stung him good, and he lost, went numb on him. It just takes a while for it to come back.
You know who that is?
That's Snitker, the manager of the Braves, but I don't know who he's referring to. He's not referring to Duvall, is he? Because Duvall had the oblique, I think.
Another pretty big name Braves player.
There's a bunch of them. Freeman. I didn't see that part, so he got dinged up on the funny bone. I didn't see that. I must have been flipping back and forth at that time. Braves are good.
Yeah,
they're on a roll. Although they almost blew it. Did you see the questioning? There was a tweet that goes around on the virtual question, right? And there was somebody, I don't know who it was, but it was the Melanson, the pitcher, that saved the game for the Braves. But they had a runner on third, and the tying run would have been the runner on third. They were up 7-0 the game, so they had 8-7 tying run on third.
Yep.
Well, so this guy's asking a question, and I get the context of the question, but he was doing such a bad job of asking the question, and he was like, do you take anything out of the fact that you were able to wiggle out of the jam basically and go up 2-0, even though you basically blew the lead?
Yeah.
And so he's really having a hard time, like, asking the question, okay?
Okay.
And Melanson's like, I don't get your question. And so he asks it again. I don't get your question. Ask it again. And he's like, we didn't blow the lead.
Yeah.
It's like, we didn't blow it.
Yeah.
Like we might have almost, like he didn't say this, but we didn't blow the lead.
Yeah.
And so he asked it one more time. And he's like, I just don't get your question. I'm not even going to answer your question. But the funny thing is, like, I think I know what the reporter was going after.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hey, you almost blew the lead.
Of course.
Yeah, it could have been demoralizing. Like, it could have been awful. And instead, not only are you up 2-0, but you figured out a way not to blow the lead.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
You held them off.
Yep.
And you just, it was just like this. You get some of the awkward, because probably on the player side is like, am I hearing all this correctly? And, some of us don't ask questions the right way all the time. But
oh, no. I mean, but like, see, if that's the case, then I'd ask a new question. Like, I'm not going to triple down and ask the same question over and over when it's not getting through. Simple as that.
It's like a
just let it go.
Don't ask this question.
Read the room, man. It's not working. Let it go.
This guy was persistent, man. He was like, well, I'm going to ask the damn question.
Yeah. like he spent like his entire life waiting for this one question, and all of a sudden he's going to ask it. Like, let it go, man. It's all right.
Braves and Rays is not going to be a blockbuster ratings win.
No, not at all.
Although I'm not really sure Houston and the Braves would. Braves and Dodgers, I don't know. I just don't.
It would have been a little better
Dodgers
with the
would
Braves,
help.
Dodgers. Come on now.
Unless you were Dodgers, Yankees, you're not going to win the ratings anyway. Is it better or worse for the Houston Astros to be out of the play, out if they do get beat? Which
Better.
now they're down 3-0. But is it better that they're out, or would it be better if they're in just because of the storyline?
No, listen, it's better for me because I don't want to see the Astros. I want to see the baseball gods prevail, and I don't want cheaters to win. Nice guys are supposed to finish first, not last. I think, though, that in terms of ratings and in terms of tuning in to watch, I think the Astros being in there would make a difference. I think that would put the needle a little more over just to say, well, we want to watch the Astros lose. Or if you're like that small fan base in Houston or around the country, really, where you like cheering for the winner, well, then Houston's kind of been that front runner. So they have a lot going for themselves. I think when you have two new teams that, I don't know, some people aren't familiar with, but people aren't necessarily up to date on it, if it's the Braves or if it's the Rays, I think you got problems.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. First of all, I think it would be better if they were in.
Better if the Astros are in.
Yeah. One, because the Rays are so small market, like in the sense, they're not, Tampa's not small, but in the baseball sense, they are. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have a wide range of fans. They have no stars to watch. Mm-hmm. Quite frankly, if you don't like baseball, they don't even really have an exciting brand of baseball that they play. Yeah. Which I thought that's really interesting in Major League Baseball, what they did. They use these bubble parks. And the Texas park is massive.
Yeah.
Like, massive park. I mean, it might as well be the Polo Grounds this day and age.
Yeah.
And then the Padres park is already pretty big. It's not considered a hitter's park. Mm-hmm. Now, more balls fly out of there now, and it's got a shorter, like, indentation in right field. But that's, like, where they've been. And it's interesting in this day and age of home runs. Well, we finally got 8-7 yesterday thanks to a late rally. But outside of that, it's been a lot of pitching and not a lot of runs scored. Mm-hmm. So the brand of baseball, at least from the average viewer's mind, is probably like, that's kind of boring. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of good baseball if you really like baseball. But anyway, I think Houston being in would add to the storyline. So therefore, and it would be good versus evil potentially. And I think it would definitely be better for baseball. I also think the fact that the Astros made it here, nobody wants to admit or talk about, is they had a down season, so this might contradict. But it shows you that they're pretty darn good anyway. They cheated the game. It's wrong. They should be penalized. They should have haters. All of that stuff. I kind of like the Astros organization, what they built. I think they were pretty good anyway.
Built through the farm system and then got the high-priced free agents when you needed them.
But you can't do what they did, and they've been punished, and I think they'll wear that for a long time, all that stuff. But I do think they're pretty good baseball players. I mean, those guys are pretty darn good. They don't have Verlander this year. That might have made a difference, although it's really been hitting with runners in scoring position. That's been a problem. And they have been about as if there are baseball gods.
Yeah.
This Houston team, this series against the Rays, have been maybe the most unluckiest 3 games I've ever witnessed in a baseball series. I mean, they have had more hits. They've had more guys on. They've hit into double plays. Last night, the Rays had 4 great plays in the outfield, 3 diving one and a one against the wall by Kiermaier, and another play nobody was talking about earlier in the game at shortstop that was terrific that Adames made and Diaz picked over at first. That was a terrific play. They have made just about every play possible, and the Astros have out-hit them and had chances, and they're not getting there. And, of course, the Altuve stuff has been really interesting from a karma standpoint since he was front and center in the cheating scandal, and now he can't even throw it to first or second base.
Is that like the yips?
It's got to be the yips.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm obviously a big Altuve. I like Altuve, one, because I got to show like Ty all that time.
He's not a prototypical looking baseball player.
Yeah, I mean, he's tiny, right? So we got, he's a good player. I think Steph really likes like Altuve too because she's like, he's got to be hurt. Like, he's got to be hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, he's not hurt.
Yeah.
He can't throw it.
And it's all in his own head. Yeah.
And he can't throw it to first. He can't throw it to second. I mean, it's unbelievable, but it's happened before.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now with Jose Altuve, which is unbelievable on this stage to happen. I don't think he's had a case of that before.
No.
He's not hurt.
Well, especially from the experience factor, too. Like, he's been here before.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just, yeah.
I mean, it's bizarre what's going on. So, anyway, them and the Braves are supposed to playing unbelievable ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if the series turned a little bit last night, though, because the Dodgers are really good.
Oh, yeah, they're loaded.
And they're better than everybody. The Dodgers on paper are better than everybody.
Correct.
But the Dodgers bullpen is weak, and it's a problem. And right now, the Braves are pitching out of their minds up until the last inning last night.
Yeah.
And you wonder, even though they won the game, did the series turn? It's going to be really interesting today.
No, and it begs the question, though, because the Braves' bats are obviously alive and well right now, where if the Braves can keep attacking those, because listen, the Dodgers have the starters to win this thing, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. But can they go 6? Can they go 7? Can they get deep in the game? Or do you stop them in the 4th and 5th? Rely on some of those relievers that have been getting shelled, to say the least, and all of a sudden you're in the game a little bit. I just think right now the Braves are playing good baseball. They're hitting the ball well, and if they can keep on doing that, it doesn't matter what kind of pitching you got in L.A. for your starters.
No, it won't. It won't matter at all. The Jaguars traded for Correa, the linebacker.
Who wasn't the guy that got the...
He wasn't. We looked it up.
Kick, unfortunately.
But, as we're talking about him, I'm going back and I'm thinking... And then we looked it up again. He actually, so this is the guy that was, he played really well for the Ravens.
Yeah.
You say he's drafted out of Boise State, right?
Correct.
And he was playing well, I believe, for the Ravens. And then they got rid of him and C.J. Mosley. They basically let him walk.
Yeah.
And now the latest from Nashville is, so then anyway, he goes and signs with the Titans. Yeah. And I think he played pretty well last year. But now they're not, like, he was a healthy scratch last night.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's ticked off and basically wanted to trade. And earlier today, Vrabel basically said, hey, if we can't find a trade partner, we're just going to release him. And, the Jags obviously were interested. So it's an interesting path from Correa. But I'm pretty sure he was with Mosley. Remember, they let Mosley walk and get the big deal with the Jets. And then, obviously, they let Correa go as well, even though I think that's somebody they could have signed. I think he was playing well for Baltimore at the time.
Yeah, so he ended up getting drafted in the 2nd round out of Boise State, goes to Baltimore his rookie year, plays in 9 games, mostly a special teams guy. 2017, played in 16 games, once again kind of a special teams guy, and then gets traded to Tennessee in 2018 for a 6th-round pick. And then...
Oh, so that was it. So they weren't as high on him as I thought they were.
No.
Okay.
And then... so I guess he kind of underachieved because I remember like them taking him, and then I guess for whatever reason I thought like he actually started some games for them, but it sounds like he was more of a special teams guy the entire time.
Okay, so maybe it's Kamale Correa to the Jags. They basically swap late round picks and they get him, and we'll see. Maybe it's just special teams, a depth play, strong side linebacker. It's not going to wow you, but it'll be interesting to see what the Jags do with this latest move.
And then 2019, actually, I think he got his playing time then. He ended up having...
I thought he was good for them last year, I remember.
Yeah. Finished the season with 37 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and a fumble recovery.
Yeah, so he was very productive for him last year.
And in the playoffs, we recorded 2 sacks and 13 tackles.
Yeah, see, that's when I remember the storyline. I remember the storyline, okay, I think he was with Mosley in Baltimore. So Baltimore had Correa and Mosley, at least on their roster. They might not have used him like he was being used last year.
Yeah.
But then Correa comes in and obviously does very well second half of the year during that run. and now he's found himself on the bench. So maybe he just had a moment, a couple of months, a good little flash there for the Titans.
I'm going to be honest, man. It's crazy because he only started 5 games last year for the Titans. Obviously, whether there's injuries or whatever the reason may be, he comes in for the playoffs. By my accounts, absolutely blows the doors off. And then they kind of I don't want to say depromote him, but like they put him back down to special teams, and then they don't keep him around. Like I feel like if you got a guy that shined that much in the playoffs,
I know it.
But I
he
guess
does too.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I guess it kind of shows you, no, without a doubt. But I guess it kind of shows you the depth of the Tennessee Titans, to say the least.
Yeah, and it's hard to argue with anything they're doing right now as they continue to win games.
I'm not
I
gonna
wanted to ask
question
you this. Hey, Le'Veon Bell, another one, disgruntled. Says, see you later. Really interesting, right? Because when Jamal Adams was disgruntled, wasn't it Le'Veon Bell that said something about it?
Yeah, he had something to say.
That was wild.
Yeah.
But here's my question about Le'Veon Bell. As it's, who knows where he ends up. But aren't the Pittsburgh Steelers geniuses at the end of the day?
It's absolutely crazy because you have to keep in mind when Le'Veon Bell chose to sit out, he was regarded as one of the best running backs, if not the best
Top
running
3.
back in the entire NFL. And obviously, the emergence of James Conner helped them out. Before James Conner was like, what are the Steelers doing, right? But it seems like, listen, they've been through a lot of adversity. Antonio Brown, obviously, Le'Veon Bell. Like, no other team in the NFL has lost essentially probably the best wide receiver at the time in the NFL, and at least the top 3 or the best running back on the roster as well. No team has ever done that. And it's almost like the Pittsburgh Steelers are a better team for having gone through that. And it goes to show you just what kind of organization at the top you have in the Pittsburgh Steelers, but also what kind of captain Mike Tomlin is as well.
Yeah, I feel like, they made a decision and they got better by getting rid of some guys, some really star potential guys. I think it's a little bit of what the Jags were trying to do, whether it was Fournette or Ramsey or whoever, and trying to kind of get the same bump. The problem is the teams are a little bit different. The cultures are a little different. The quarterbacks have been different, all that stuff. What also is eye-popping is I think he played 18 games and got $28 million for the New York Jets. I can't even make fun of it because, how much did Nick Foles get for the amount of games that he, the Jags have done the same. But you know what? It's a common thread. You make some really bad moves. Maybe you get a little unlucky, but the Jets and the Jags aren't too far away in their success.
Yeah.
And if you look at what they've had trouble keeping star players now, Jamal Adams, Le'Veon Bell, and others, and the waste of money that they've had and waste of draft picks and not good enough draft picks, it's an unfortunate common thread. Unfortunately, you can tie those teams in much easier than you can tie in what we talked about earlier. How did the Bills fix it?
Yeah.
How did the Titans fix it? How did the Rams fix it? How are the Jags going to fix it is an age-old question around here.
You gotta know who you are, Brent. You gotta know who you are.
It starts there, right? It starts there.
Who are you, Brent Martineau?
It's a good question. I'll think about it tonight. What's my identity?
Sounds like a 2-14 season for ESPN 690.
Yeah, I'll get my Sunshine and Rainbow shirt out.
There we go. Now we're
Maybe
talking.
We'll have a good Battle of the Sunsets tonight.
You got to know who you are, man. Know about the brand.
We'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Jags Wired coming up tonight at 7:30 on Fox 30. Make sure you tune in for that one as well. We'll be back tomorrow on ESPN 690. Live Local Loud is up next.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, things may have gotten tougher lately. You're probably looking for savings wherever you can find them. So you may be surprised to hear that most small businesses overpay for workers' compensation insurance. Many insurance companies just aren't set up to give small businesses the savings they deserve. But Pi Insurance was created to change that. We serve small businesses exclusively, and we can save you up to 30%. You owe it to yourself to find out if you're overpaying. Just get a quote right now from your computer or smartphone at trypi.com. Pi Insurance is a no-brainer with our simple online experience and outstanding service. We are rated excellent on Trustpilot by our customers, who tell us Pi is fast, affordable, and easy to work with. As easy as pie, in fact. Savings matter now more than ever. Isn't it worth taking 3 minutes to find out if you're overpaying for workers' comp? Ask your insurance agent for Pi Insurance or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
There's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the pay pays much for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care and patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
OrthoEdge are in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
This Movember, here's to the straggly mustaches, the lopsided ones, the oddly sexy ones, the itchy, patchy, raggedy ones, the peach fuzz ones, the hey, I look good with this ones, the scruffy ones, the black, blonde, red, and gray ones, the ones grown by Dad, the ones grown for Dad. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the